think we're live. Yeah, we're live now.
We're live now.
Yeah. So yeah, this apparently Kai Cenat, he's been doing some sort of like marathon streaming situation where he just has like different shit going on, and there was this magician who showed up and he wanted to he wanted to do this like trick, quote unquote trick where Kai goes outside. Oh, here's Ibrahim right here. What's up? Can you hear us?
Sorry, I'm trying to get my shit.
Oh, it's all good. So yeah, so Kai brings Sexy Red and this group of people outside where this guy has like this stage set up in his backyard and like 3 nooses, and he tells Kai like if you pull one of these like cords, it's gonna like bring up this noose. And I guess I don't know what the trick was supposed to be, but what ends up happening is the guy gets hung, and it was like a prank that the guy pulled on Kai. Like Kai didn't know that he was going to hang this guy, but like you obviously can't show that on Twitch. And it was like fucking nuts looking. Like the guy was just hanging there for like a minute, and they had to bring in like, rescue people. Like it was like, I guess the idea was like he could survive with just by neck strength, the hanging, but like it's still not a good idea, obviously. And then when Kai goes upstairs, like he's freaking out. He's going like, what the fuck? What was that? Did I just get pranked or whatever? He goes upstairs and the guy had left like a video for him that was like, haha, I wanted you to pull that because, this was all part of my plan. To freak you out. He tried to mind freak him. So then like Kai and the crew, like they freak out and they start like bringing in his people, like, and start like interrogating them live on stream to ask if that was a prank, where the guy went, because like I guess the guy like absconded into the night or something. Very crazy. But anyways,
it's all Ashton Kutcher's fault.
Yeah, it was him. It's a mixture of Ashton Kutcher and Chris Angel. They're both at fault. I don't even blame Copperfield.
Yeah, all he did was like make the Statue of Liberty disappear. He didn't hurt nobody.
I don't even remember him doing that shit. I remember from him was like when he would go around and being like, here's a quarter, like I'm gonna bite this quarter and then like spit it back together.
Yeah, Statue of Liberty was the thing he did in like the 80s.
That was David Blaine.
That's who I meant. I meant Blaine.
Yeah. David Blaine, by the way, looks a lot like your boy.
Yeah, I know.
Certain photos where it's like, holy shit.
Beanie. He wears a beanie, right? That was his deal.
Sometimes, yeah.
He was the one who I feel like I watched a bunch where it was like he's gonna freeze himself in a block of ice. Watch what happens, and I'm like, I gotta see this. I need to see this.
And then he's just cold for 40 minutes, and you're like,
yeah. Like it was always like hella hype at my school. Where like, dude, this motherfucker is gonna freeze himself to death. We need to watch this. And we come back to school the next day, like, what a waste of fucking time. He didn't die. And I didn't really want to see him die, so I don't know why like that was the, but I guess like back then, like anything you could put anything on TV, tell kids it was a big deal, and they would be like, this is it. You can't do that anymore.
Those were like endurance things, you know what I mean? Those were like like not necessarily like magic, but it was like, oh, we're gonna fucking, like try to escape this thing or see how long he can stay like floating in the, wasn't he like in a bubble, like in a ball in the sky or something for like 3 days or some shit? And he was like, didn't eat or anything.
Yeah, he was always doing something weird. Or do one of you guys not have headphones on? Because like I thought I heard myself a second ago.
No.
Oh, I opened the
oh, I see.
I opened the stream so it was doubling up for a second.
Oh, okay.
But it's on mute, so it should be all good.
What do you guys get up to today?
Just working or trying to work, I'm super burnt out right now, so like all of my days just get decompressed into like getting some work done, but then also like, I had to like weatherproof a bunch of shit because it's gonna get below freezing here over the next couple of nights. So it's like if I had a normal job, I wouldn't be stopping in the middle of my shift to like wrap up my hoses and stuff,
Right.
I had an annoying thing happen today that worked out okay in the end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to expound on that or?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know I was on a clock. I didn't know there was a ticking clock above me.
Where you go, I had something happen to me today.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So I'm supposed to get the audio and visual equipment today. It was scheduled to be delivered. And I get the email around 1:30 that they delivered it. And I look outside my door and there's nothing there. So I look around the building. I don't see it anywhere. So I go online, I check it out, and they said, well, if it doesn't come by 4 o'clock tomorrow, then let us know. So I'm like, fuck, and, nothing. So I go do my laundry, and I'm like walking down the steps to the laundry is behind me in the building behind me. And I go walk down the steps to the laundry room, and I just happen to look down to the right in the apartment right next to the laundry room, and there's a package. And I look at it, and it has my name on it.
Oh, man. So you got the stuff, but you didn't have time to set it up, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I didn't have time to set it up. And it's kind of funny just because like they're always dropping off packages to my house that I have to hand deliver to
I was
other
going to say, that's
units.
usually you get other people's stuff,
Yeah. So, it's just one of those things.
I mean, the good news is
it's
not just lost. Yeah.
Yeah, it showed up. No, totally. Yeah, it ended up okay. That's weird.
Yeah, that would have been a pain. I get little anxiety things every time I order something because I'm like, God, is it going to show up? You know?
Yeah. Now I'm gonna have it even more.
Yeah. Do you get?
Yeah, all it takes is one time for them to screw it up.
It wasn't through Amazon, was it?
It was.
Do you have the thing where they have to like take a picture?
I didn't get that far yet. I had to wait. They told me to check back tomorrow, but it came. So.
Oh, I see. But I mean, like at our house, or when I order packages, rather, they always have to like take a photo, and then like when I look at the order, it shows where the person like left it out front.
Yeah.
Which is kind of helpful, I guess. But it is always funny where it's just like, yep, there's that thing. There's a little box.
Well, it's funny when they do like they put it in the wrong place and then they take a picture of it. Like, yeah, there it is, and you're like, that's not even my house, dude.
There's not.
Whenever I order something from like Home Depot or Lowe's, like they always take a picture of the delivery, and I'm always there to like receive it from them. So I'll always get down like with the like a pallet of bricks I order or whatever, and I'll just be like in the photo, and they're just like, okay, dude. Sometimes they're like, "Oh, you want to be in it?" I was like, "Yeah, fucking why not? I paid for this stuff."
Yeah, one time I got home and my roommates had ordered like something, and I was like, "Oh, I could just take it in for you. You know, I live here." Like I was unlocking the door as they walked up, and they're like, "I have to take a photo," and I was like, "Oh," so they like put it down, took the photo. I said, "Okay, thank you." And then like I did, picked it up, brought it inside. But I mean, I guess I understand because if we were to be like, scam artists, we could just be like, we never got that.
Right.
And they don't have proof to show that, we dropped it off.
Yeah, one time
apparently,
they sent me
depending on. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, they sent me the wrong dog food one time. As I was getting Dory's dog food through Amazon in the beginning, so I find one that worked for, and they sent me the wrong one. I hit them back, and I was like, "Hey, yeah, you sent me the wrong dog food," and they're like, "Oh, just give it to somebody."
Yeah, like I knew this guy who would get action figures delivered from Amazon, and they'd always be like, they put it in like an envelope, so you have like a box that you're trying not to have damaged for collecting purposes or whatever, and it just comes all mangled. And so a lot of times for this guy, unless he was lying to me, I don't know, but it'd always be like, yeah, just keep it. So he'd get like $100 action figure for free, and they'd refund him. I'm like, how the fuck does that? That never happens to me. They're always like, all right, print a label. You get a month to drop it off. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll make a run to the UPS store now.
The funniest thing was when Sophie, when she got her Substack grant, and she was like, she was living large. She bought me a gorilla, like a Optimus Primal figure. She was buying people. She bought like a few people toys. I was one. I think Rico got a toy. But it was like if you had the right toy and you pushed her a little bit, she was like, all right, I'll buy you a toy. Why not? God bless her. But I got this sweet Optimus Prime figure that she ordered from like China or Japan or something. And it was through like DHL or like one of those kind of things, not like a normal delivery service. And when the people dropped off the box, it was this massive fucking box. And Were you there for that, Ibrahim? I don't remember if you were part of that fucking journey. When I got it, and it was like a weight loss machine that some lady had ordered like down the street from me. And I was like, oh, fuck. So I opened it up because I'm like, well, it can't be the action figure. This thing is heavy as shit. It's huge. And I didn't even check to like read the thing. I just opened it. And I was like, oh, yeah, obviously this isn't the action figure. And I was like, well, shit, I don't know what to do now. So then I like looked up where she lived and I considered taking it to her. And like it was like we were on the call and I was like, what should I do? What should I do? And then finally the guy showed up looking just like frenzied and haggard and was like, oh shit. Like, is that thing? He like handed me the action figure. And I was like, oh, thank you. Didn't tell him that I opened it.
There are people
Shout out to Sophie. She said,
oh shit.
It was from Japan, and those were good times. Yeah, that Substack Grant era.
Yeah, that was pandemic time.
Yeah. That was like
lockdown.
Except for the millions of deaths, it was like really an incredible moment for us as a friend.
Yeah. Harken back to the days of the COVID.
Oh, shout out to my guy Para. He's here live in the cut.
We really had some banner chat days during lockdown.
Yeah, we definitely made the best out of a bad situation. The absolute best out of it.
So I was thriving during that time. Yeah, there was some really I you know, it's like most people are like, oh, that was such a horrible time, and it was, you know, but it was also some of the best times of my life, if I'm being honest, because it gave me the ultimate excuse to not do anything, like to not be sociable, to like just stay inside my house all day, which is what I ultimately want to do, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, it's what I do anyway, and like I cut my own hair. I've been cutting my own hair since I was 15, so like, done deal. I'm good.
I was shaving my head, letting my hair grow real long. I was doing stupid facial hair decisions just because I was like, what's the difference? Like, I'm wearing a mask everywhere. Who cares? You know?
Dude, my hair was built for that moment.
But you didn't let it grow, did you? Did you just keep shaving it despite the fact that you weren't going anywhere?
It would get longer than it normally does.
Mm.
I would definitely like start to look a little stubbly. But
I would have just used that as an opportunity to just let it all grow out and just see what happens.
You know, I've been shaving it for so long. If it gets to a certain length, it starts to get itchy, and I have to shave it. It starts to bother me.
I remember when I first grew my beard out. It was so itchy, dude. I was like, what is this?
Yeah. Make it go away. I have a friend who's doing that though. He's doing the Carlin. He's letting it grow.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, it started when I first saw it. Yeah, I hadn't seen him in months, and then I saw him and he had it going. And the first time I was like kind of taken aback, but then saw him again like 3 months later, and it got to a point where it was looking like cool and distinguished and kind of smooth. I was like, damn, dude, he busted through, you know.
He came out the other side.
Yeah, looking like cool Carlin. He was looking like a riffraff for a bit there, and then.
Oh, shout out to our guy Doug. He says, "What's up? Nice to see everyone like this from time to time. I just got home. I have to drop later." Hell yeah! Shout out to
Thank you, Doug. Thanks for showing up, man.
The legend.
Doug's famously featured in one of Ramon's diss lines to me. we were cooking up little battle rap lines for each other, and he said, "Oh, Mother Panic, that's in Doug's other attic," because Doug's old store had like an upstairs to it.
Well, it was because when we went there that one time, I was like, "Do you have Jupiter's Legacy by any chance?" And he goes, "Oh, it's in the attic," or it was like somewhere else. And I was like, "Oh, okay," but like, I don't think he had it that day or something, or like it wasn't like it was like a couple weeks after it had come out, so it was like he probably just sold out of the couple copies he had or whatever. I just wanted for that quietly, you know what I mean? But I always remember that he was like in the attic. I was like, the attic? This seems like a normal place.
No, because his store had the back issues were upstairs.
Oh, okay.
In that shop.
So yeah, and I was just like, it's not worth going upstairs for that. I think I just got something else. Yeah, our guy Doug, I love it, dude. We love you.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, you know what? The only thing I did.
What'd you get up to today, Ron? Oh, sorry. I have a delay through StreamYard. I don't think this happens during the normal chat. I think it's only through StreamYard.
Yeah, it's weird. We'll figure it out one of these days. I got up to nothing much. I mean, I was just working, and then I went for my walk, and then I got ready for the show, which wasn't that much. Speaking of which,
yeah.
Well, before we start, Doug says, I think it would have been some comic supplies. That would have been hilarious. There was literally an attic with a ladder you pull down. I think that's what that was about. Yeah, it was definitely Jupiter's Legacy, because I remember being like, if I don't get it, it's not that big of a deal, you know? Like, I mean, like, I wanted it, but it was like, it was Mark Miller, so I'm like, I don't really give a shit if I don't read it right away. Yeah, I'll get it eventually. I think I had already seen it or something too. Like I had flipped through it or something. But anyways, yeah, let's start the show. Hello everyone. Welcome to New Cool Meat episode 3. This is the 3rd episode, and it's me, Ramon Villalobos, here with Tony Grigori.
What up? Hi everybody.
And Ibrahim Mustafa.
What's up?
There's that second delay.
I even said it early. I said it before you finished because I was like, I'm really gonna make up for the. Yeah, that's crazy. All right.
I think. Yeah. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But yeah. What? It's funny because I was like, oh yeah, I'm just getting ready for the show today, and I was listening to like Kendrick and Tupac, because we talked about we were gonna review Kendrick's album, talk about that, talk about the discourse around it, because it's so interesting to me. And then talk about Thanksgiving. We want to talk about, we want to do our like 7 list, which is Tony giving 7 rom-coms, the over-unders of the week, and then just whatever. We're just going to vibe out. This week, I wanted to do last week, I maybe was too over-prepared, maybe talked too much, maybe sort of, it became a little bit of a lecture and less of a conversation. So this week, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to write shit down, and we'll just see what happens. Could be great. The note could be, Ramon, you need to write a little bit more next time. You need to prepare a little bit more.
We're all learning. We're learning as we're going.
I have faith in us.
I do too.
So, Thanksgiving. Let's have a general conversation about that, because I have an interesting sort of relationship with that. I feel like growing up, especially being sort of like Mexican American, it was really one of the times of the year where like there is no, like, Mexican Christmas is separate than like normal like white Christmas that you see, because there's like tamales, it's like on Christmas Eve, there's like, it's very Catholic, there's the nativity scene, is all this extra shit that's separate from normal Christmas that you would see on like TV. So like, I always remember there was like a disconnect for me when I would watch Christmas shit, and it's like not match my experience, But I feel like Mexicans, or at least my family growing up, we always tried to like lean very heavily into like, we're going to do a white thing today. You know what I mean? It was like, we're going to eat turkey. There will be mashed potatoes, but like, there was still a little bit of like crossed wires, because there would be tortillas, beans, and rice, but then there wouldn't be like cranberry sauce. I never understood it. I never really got it. Even like stuffing was kind of like not really a thing. Like what was Thanksgiving like for you guys growing up?
We kind of celebrated like you guys. We did it on Christmas Eve.
No, that's Christmas. I'm talking about Thanksgiving.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, my bad. You just got me on it. You start talking about Christmas Eve and Christmas and Catholicism, and you got me once. Yeah, Thanksgiving was family oriented. We did like the white Christmas or the white Thanksgiving thing with the turkey and the stuffing, and everyone kind of eats dinner and then goes around. It goes in their separate spaces to like get away from everybody else for like 3 hours, and then goes home.
Yeah, for me, we didn't celebrate Christmas because I didn't grow up Christian.
Right.
And, I was like raised Muslim until I was, 10, 11. But so we would do Thanksgiving like pretty traditionally, but we also didn't have much any extended family locally. So like my mom's best friend, who's effectively my aunt, she'd come over with her kid, who's my cousin basically. And like we lived in the same apartment complex. So like we would just kind of have a small family thing and, basically immediate family plus 2. But I have a question, because you were talking about Mexican Christmas and the nativity scene and stuff. And that got me thinking, like, being Middle Eastern, like all of the Judeo-Christian like heavy hitters are from the same region of the world. So like I've always been able to identify with that. But like, what's it like being Mexican and looking at like, you know,
A Mexican
thinking
baby
basically like,
Jesus, a
or
Mexican
like,
Virgin
yeah, like,
Mary.
do you
They are
guys, yeah,
Mexican.
do you like project like being Latino onto Jesus, or is it like, you know, is
You
he
mean
Jesus in that
Jesus?
moment, or is it like,
Yeah, dude, what are you talking about? Hey, prove to me that New Jerusalem isn't Mexico. Isn't there are some people that have some very interesting theories that it is.
Look, you know, I will say we share in common flatbreads, pyramids, and you know, warm climate. So
Yeah, yeah, that we can talk more about that, like, especially about Christmas. We're gonna have to really get into the Christmases. But it was like there is like the culturally, like, we for Thanksgiving specifically, it was like we are going to be white today. We're gonna wear fucking button up shirts. It was kind of the same with Easter, actually.
oh, you guys did
Like
it like that.
it was the 2 times a year that we had to dress nice. It was Christmas, not even really, but it was Easter and Thanksgiving. And you know what fucking sucked about Thanksgiving was, like, my parents were divorced, right? And my grandparents were divorced. So Thanksgiving and Christmas to a lesser extent, but mostly Thanksgiving we would go to my grandma, my maternal grandma's mom, my maternal grandmother on the weekend before Thanksgiving, whatever day it was. And then on Thanksgiving, we'd have to go to my grandpa on my mom's side, my grandma and grandpa on my dad's side. My stepdad, as when he came along, we had to go to his mom's house and his grandparents' house. Then we'd have to go to one of our aunt's house, and then we would have to, it was just like it was a full fucking day of like
It's
hopping
chaotic,
around
yeah.
house to house and just being like, oh yeah, more turkey, here we go. You know what I mean? Not all my family were really great cooks, like, sometimes it would be like, oh boy, the turkey this time, I don't know about this. But it was definitely like it was a journey that we had to have every year too. And like, when now that I'm older, I kind of miss it. I mean, like, it's nice because I'm going to visit my family tomorrow and I'm going to see them. And it's like smaller, like it's just like my brothers, my sister, their kids, and then like probably my aunt and like a couple of people are going to come over. But when I was younger, I had such a big extended family and it was so localized. Everybody lived in Tracy, California, or Manteca. It was like within a 15-minute drive of like the two towns. So like we were constantly going back and forth. And yeah, it was it was nice growing up with such a big family, but it was also like very easy to sort of just get lost in yourself and not really like I guess like being able to like be an outsider within your own family. I feel like with smaller families that isn't always the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. I only know my own experience, so I can't, like, I am an only child essentially, but I have 6 siblings, so it's kind of weird. But my grandparents were the only family members and my uncle were the only family members we had close to us when I was a kid. So we would just all hang out with them and just go back and forth. One year we go to my yaya's place, and then the next year they'd be at our place. And there was a lot of drinking going on with the adults, and a lot of fights, and a lot of awkward moments, and some great moments too.
Yeah.
But I definitely miss them. Like you were saying, in hindsight, now that all of them are gone, I just this time of year I start to get sad a little bit.
Yeah. Seasonal depression. I feel like it's, when you're growing up, it's like, yeah, sure, okay. But then when you actually start to get older and you're like, oh, I see why people get seasonally depressed. Because everywhere you go, it's just like people around families, and you're like, man, fuck these motherfuckers, dude. Even though I have a family, even though my family's all around here, but it's still a little bit like, man, fuck these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Shout out to our guy Dennis Hoffman. He says, first time watching, big fan of all three since back in the day. That he really is from back in the day.
Dennis.
He was. How long you known Dennis?
I've known him online for at least 6, 7, 8 years, maybe.
He was one of the first people that commissioned me when I popped off online, like super early. Me and my boy Craig.
Yeah, Dennis is a good guy.
I'm gonna flatter myself and say we look like we could be brothers. Me and Dennis.
I could see that. Our guy Brian says, "Ain't Tony Italian? He had to have pasta before turkey." Did you guys mix like that, Tony? Did you guys mix cuisine?
Oh yeah. There was always like for Christmas we ate Italian, but it was never like a standard thing. We'd eat, do the fishes or we'd do some sort of like lasagna or something. And I was really sorry.
No, go ahead.
When I was really young, we would go up north to visit my dad's family up in Delaware and Philadelphia. So we'd have the big Italian Christmases. That was a blast. It was in the 80s, so like we're playing Atari in the basement with like my older cousins and shit. And
that's awesome.
That was cool.
Lasagna is kind of a traditional American Christmas dinner for a lot of people, right? Like I feel like that must have been like a
I remember one time we went to my nonna's place and she had a giant table and it was like a giant table of lasagna and people would just go around and like take from it. And the house was full.
Just
like 30, 40 people.
It's like when you get one of those big party subs, but it was just lasagna, just like 6 feet of lasagna. That's awesome.
She put peas in her lasagna, which I always thought was kind of weird as a kid. Never got into it.
You know what?
Yeah.
I fuck with that. I've never tried it, but I have this weird thing where I want green. Principle. I want a little bit of green in most of my savory meals. Like if it's savory, there should be green in it. Yeah, like I put green onion in my eggs every morning because I just like need that. I need to see green.
Yeah, I like to have a red and a green, and then like a white onion. Or if I go green onion, and I add like a red, and I go white with like a mushroom. I kind of like try to keep it.
Yeah, just some kind of color variance.
Yeah, with Thanksgiving, I mean, are there any green? Oh well, again, this is another thing.
Green bean casserole, bro.
But we never had that growing up. I would have never. I was not part of our Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was like the most basic, and pretty much every one that I went to, it was like turkey, mashed potatoes, corn,
yeah,
and then gravy, and probably stuffing. I didn't really. My eyes didn't open up to that till much later.
Stuffing is by far my favorite part of
fact.
Thanksgiving. That is.
Oh, I agree. I definitely fuck with stuffing. The older I got, the more I sort of realized just how good it is, And it's
and
it's
stuffing
actually
has
underrated.
Celery, which is green.
Right.
Fun fact: green bean casserole was invented by a woman named Dorcas Riley.
You're making that up.
No, I swear to God, because I always remembered like that fact because her name was Dorcas. It's like orcas, like a plural of orca whales with a D at the beginning. She worked at the Campbell's Soup Company.
You know what tripped me out that I found out recently? The Caesar salad. I assumed that was like Italian in some way, or like and I guess in theory it is, but it was invented in Mexico. I'm like, this is Mexican. Yeah, some Mexican cooked it up.
Oh, different kind of Caesar.
Yeah, for real. I was hyped when I found that out. I feel like every once in a while I just get like pride in things that happen with my culture that is, like, oh, like I didn't know that the pumpkin was native to like Mexico. Oh, that was the other thing, pumpkin pie. I'm a huge pumpkin pie guy. And I always thought like, is that a little basic of me? Is that a little basic bitch kind of shit to be like that into pumpkin spice shit? But then when I realized, no, it's in my veins. You know what I mean? My people have always conquered the pumpkin, and we've eaten them. So like it's part of my spirit, really. It's part of my cultural heritage.
I've never heard anyone claim credit for conquering pumpkin before. That's kind of tight. It's kind of
no one else. Yeah, no one else could lay claim to it. Only the Mexicans.
Yeah, and no one's done it.
I think that people like. This is like a white supremacy thing. They want to pretend like we didn't because they want to claim to it. You know how white women are, dude.
Well, yeah, they've taken over the pumpkin now.
They think they've done everything. They think they invented everything. I want to take it back for the Latinos. The pumpkin pie is a Latino dish from now on. When I was younger, my grandma would go crazy with the pumpkin pie. She would make so many of them. And I would always end up staying at her house, like my dad's mom. like after Thanksgiving. I would be there for like the weekend or whatever. And that was really when I realized how capable of like eating a lot of food I was, to my great detriment later in life. But as a child, I remember just smashing like 3 whole pies.
You do think that you can always do these food challenges we watch?
Yeah, because I can. I really feel like I believe in my soul that I can do these things. We watch a lot of this YouTuber Beard Meets Food. It's this professional eater. He travels around doing like food contests in different local restaurants. He's a great YouTuber, and I watch him with Tony, and I'm like, I could do this. Like if it's something I think I would enjoy eating, I'm like, I could eat this for sure. You know. But when I was a kid, I ate so much like whatever, like pumpkin pies. I just ate so much that I got sick. You know what I mean? But I was
I
just
did that with
I was
I did that with
insatiable.
I did that with Doritos.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ate so
When
much
I was
Doritos.
a teenager, it became a thing to like go to different, like see how many houses I could get in on a Thanksgiving
Oh,
Thursday. You know what
really?
I mean? Like go to my friend's house, my house, my friend's house, our other friend's house, and see how many meals we could eat. Because I used, like when I was a growing teenager, I could put shit away, but now I can't eat like that anymore. But
Yeah, for sure.
That reminds me of my favorite Dawson's Creek episode. Probably my favorite Thanksgiving episode of any TV show. But Pacey rides around Cape Side going to like the different Thanksgiving. He has to go to obviously the Dawson family Thanksgiving. Then he rides over to his own, and it's like a nightmare. But that's a beautiful episode. It's very fall vibes. Love that episode.
Poor Pacey.
What's that?
Poor Pacey.
Oh, the legend. Yeah, he was in that episode. That was when he was starting to understand that he has feelings for Joey, but he was still really into Jen, or he was pretending to date Jen. They had a friends with benefits arrangement going, but they never consummated because they didn't have any emotional connection with one another. What a great show! This season 3, the best season.
Yeah. Got that one.
A lot of people say that Dawson's Creek is kind of a basic white girl, like sort of basic bitch thing, but it's actually a very Latino show.
Yeah, I would say that's more Gilmore Girls. Gilmore Girls is kind of basic.
Gilmore Girls is kind of fire too.
I loved it when I watched it.
Yeah, it definitely is much more basic bitch than Dawson's Creek for sure.
Yeah.
Dawson's Creek had better music, had better vibes, had better like script. I thought like, I think it's Doug. How's Doug Williamson back? Now I'm blanking. The guy who wrote it, the guy who also wrote Scream and like The Faculty.
Yeah,
he was cooking. Kevin Williamson. Thank you.
Oh, that guy wrote both of those things? I didn't realize that.
Yeah. The creator of Dawson's Creek also wrote Scream and The Faculty. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Sophie corrected you in the chat.
Oh, I know. Oh my God, what a major L alert.
She's never gonna let you live that down.
Yeah. I know, because I read the name Doug. That's why. Thanks a lot, Doug.
Bruh. Doug said Cesar, by the way, about the.
Oh yeah. Shout out.
Oh, by the way, you have to introduce the soundboard real quick.
Yeah, guys, like we're really leveling up. I don't know if I sound clear this time, but I got a new mixer, so I can. One of the things that we really wanted to do was introduce a soundboard into our show. As we go along, this thing's going to be a little unwieldy. I'm trying to be reasonable with it. I don't want to go crazy, but am I? What's that, Ibrahim?
What?
But what were you going to say? I thought you were going to say something.
Oh no, I was just laughing at what you were saying.
Do I have a cameo soundbite on this?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I do. You know what I mean?
This, by the way, was something that you introduced to our chats. Like when during that lockdown period we were talking about, we would just be like doing this all day long, like with 10 of us. And we would just randomly drop in like it was a fucking Z Morning Zoo radio show.
Yeah. I mean, it was different because it was like back then I had different noises, and some of them were noises from things I cannot play on air because they were like, I don't even remember what they were, but And my soundboard machine that I had, like the site that I had all these great sounds on, it went away. It like, so I'm having to repopulate my noises. But what that means is that I can make new noises, like this one. Our guy Phil with the in the air tonight drum fill. I don't know when we're gonna need that, but we might need it sometime. So I have it. You know,
Hey,
Good to have
better
it
to have
on
it and not need it than need it and not have it. Yeah.
That's
right.
Remember.
This is the one that I'm most excited about. Whenever we start talking about something for like, that's a little sketchy. That's like a little bit of a forbidden subject. We hit him with the
Kinjite, forbidden subjects.
from my favorite movie, Kinjite, Forbidden Subjects. You know.
Classic.
Yeah. And when we're talking about basketball, we want to talk about, you know, the phony goat, the liar, the fraud. We can hit him with the
LeBron James.
anyways, I'm going to try to use that sparingly because I don't want to detract from the show too much, but we do have it now. It is an option. It is on the table. Also, this is on the table. I have a voice
Changer now, where I could just sound like other things, you know? I could hit him with the reverb, and now I just sound like a demon or something. But again,
I'm going to try to use that very sparingly. But
That's kind of how you sound. That's how you sound in my head anyway. So
that's why you get so hostile towards me, bro. And I don't understand why. I'll just be asking a simple question. You get real uppity. You get real angry, but that's okay.
uppity? Are we allowed to say that?
I am. Oh yeah, Sophie says he collaborated with my guy John Hyams in the movie Sick. Yep, great movie, great COVID movie. That was our guy Kevin Williamson. So anyways, yeah, Thanksgiving. I'm excited about it just because I feel like you guys know I've been taking a lot of walks lately. I've been trying to like eat sort of healthier. I'm really worried if we lose all of our healthcare. I need to depend less on the healthcare system. So I'm making a very concerted effort to try and be healthier. And you know, so in a way, it's a good thing. You know, we're looking for silver linings, and that's one of them. Is I'm like, you know what? I need to be more focused about this. So,
you're doing a great job.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. Me and Tony had a great conversation when I started, where it's like, look, I don't want to like go crazy here. I don't want to do something where like I'm overcommitting myself and then I'll just like get burnt out.
Like not
so
sustainable.
I've just been, yeah. I want to make it like actual habitual choices. And you know what I found today was I went on my walk, and I've been walking like 1 to 2 miles every day. But if I walk 1 mile, I try to like speed walk it. And then when I walk 2 miles, I still do that, but I'll just sort of take a break and then, you know, do whatever. But I mean, I'm just so out of it. But I've been what I've been noticing is like now I kind of look forward to the walk, whereas before it was like, oh boy, now I have to go fucking do this thing, you know. But now I've been sort of retraining my mind into like, no, you like to do this. So even if it like sucks in the moment, like you like to do this, so just do it, you know. So yeah, that's been nice, you know.
Yeah, you get that endorphin rush from physical activity.
My guy Dennis Hoffman says still on the Subway game. You know, not so much lately because they raised the prices on Subway. And like it used to be like Subway was cheap enough that it's like, well, I could get a better sandwich, but Subway's so cheap. Why don't I just get the cheap sandwich? But now if I get a sub for like lunch, dinner, I'll just get like a one that costs the same price that's better. So I'll just go to like a local place, and there's a place here in Stockton that makes really good bread, Genova Bakery, and they have a couple places that they supply it to for their sandwiches. So I'll just go to one of those places. Sophie says, I'm still struggling with my exercise bike. I still hate it unless there's a really riveting show to watch while doing it. Yeah. I feel that.
The key to working out is distraction a lot of time, for sure.
Yeah. When I go on my walks, if there's like a podcast I want to listen to, I'm like out the door so fast. You know what I mean? But if it's just like, I gotta like find some music or something, then it's like a little bit more, I have to ease into it, Actually, on the subject that I wanted to talk a little bit about today was Kendrick Lamar. He's been my go-to, like, for when I go on walks. If I'm going to put on music, it's usually him.
Mm-hmm.
There's just like, I feel like there's like so many songs of his that are just very motivating for me. Before this album came out. So when the album came out, it was like, oh boy, I'm gonna be walking to this shit. You know what I mean? Ibrahim, you listened to this in here with us. Tony, have you listened to it again since then?
No,
or
just that one time with you all.
Yeah, we all listened to it together when it came out. But I've been just like playing that shit back. There's some really good songs on there. I don't think like there's really, really great Kendrick albums, and there's like some that are like really good, but they're not for me. Like To Pimp a Butterfly was one of his most famous ones, and it was real like I don't want to say like lyrical miracle, because it wasn't that. It was just very like almost like world music-y. He had went to Africa, and it was very like artsy, and it didn't really resonate as hard with me, even though when I listened to it, I'm like, well, this is undeniably great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's undeniably great, but so is the movie like Moonlight, and I'm only going to watch that once. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
there are things that I can acknowledge are great, and then like the only song I really listened to off of that was like It's Gonna Be All Right, and then I thought those two were great. But this new one, I feel like it's just below like some of my favorite Kendrick albums, but it's just below,
Yeah. I was so impressed with it. I mean, and it's hard to say Kendrick impressed you because he's fucking great, but like that was, to me it was like the perfect balance of like talking about substantial topics, but like making it bouncy and like enjoyable to listen to. There were like hits in there. It's kind of like a guy just operating at his full like potential,
Yeah. Para says Luther's my absolute fave. I loved Luther. I really love. There's three different zones that he's on this. There's like kind of classic Kendrick, which I think is like my favorite songs, probably Reincarnated, and then Gloria, and then a little bit the opening song. I forget what it's called right now, but the opening song that's just him like running down his list of grievances with the world, which I think is great. Oh, and the Heart Part 6. And then there's like smooth Kendrick, and when we were listening to that, I think those were your favorite ones, right, Ibrahim? Where he was like kind of on his melody shit, like kind of like vibing.
I don't like. I'm very specific with the kind of rap I like most of the time. Like I want it to, sound like a really well constructed, like polished thing. So I didn't really enjoy the ones where it was like a trap beat and their guys would be like, I put her on a bitch and I put him on a plant. I put him on a plant. It like didn't even rhyme. It was kind of like, all right, dude, like who can't do that?
Those
like,
were, and that was the third level.
Impressed by it.
Those were the third ones where he did a few of those, and I was like, I have not listened to many of those since that happened, unless it's just I'm on my walk and I don't feel like hitting skip, But mostly, I'm like, I love that first one where he's like, he's really in his like lyrical bag, he's going crazy. But I also like the ones where he's just vibing, the one where it was like Dodger Blue, Luther.
Dodger Blue was one of my favorites that we listened to, and like that one was a good mix of both. Like he was rapping, but it was like also vibing, and like you can do that. Like they're not, like mutually exclusive. And he was doing weird voice stuff on it. Like it kind of, like I was telling you guys, it sounds like when somebody is like doing a character in a skit that's like not funny, like playing a grandpa or something. Like the way he was saying some of that stuff. So but I mean, he's doing his thing with, that's what he wants to make. Like I don't have to like it, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like I think he did that a lot in Damn, where he was just doing weird voices, and I'm like, interesting choices here. Not my favorite choices. I just like when he raps, What's really interesting to me about this album is because I've just been going so deep into it, and like the one before this one, Mr. Morale and the High Steppers, was really great because it was really like just him having this therapy session. And we talked about this like a few months ago, Ibrahim, when I was just like, I was a little out of it, and I was like, man, I'm listening to this shit, and it's like hitting me hard. You know, like I should write them down. I should have wrote them down. But there's like lines about like just growing up with like expectations of like what his father was like, you know, like expectations of masculinity that are put on him, and like how if he doesn't live up to them, how he feels like, you know, he becomes toxic because of that. There's like a lot of things like that where I'm like, holy shit, this is crazy for like not just an artist to say that, but like a mainstream artist to talk about that and like work through those issues. And that whole album was basically like, I'm not a savior. I don't want people to think that like I have all the answers. I don't want those expectations. It's not good for me. And like, I definitely understand that. You know what I mean? Like, there's a definite like not that I have those expectations for myself, but like the idea that like you have to live up to these ideals that are just like unattainable, you know, like all the time. Like, especially for a guy like him, who people wanted to be like, this guy's the voice of a generation. You know, he's like one of the greatest rappers of all time. It's like, well, that's a lot of pressure to put on somebody, you know? Like, and it's easy to see how like he could just betray the values that he has to lean into that. But one thing that really interested me on this when I was listening to this was like, it really did strike me like, what are his values, like a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, because one of the controversies around Damn was he had kind of come out as being like a Black Israelite. And so when this came out, there's like, if you're going to be like a Para says here, like, yeah, same, woke Kendrick isn't my fave. Like, if you're going to be that guy, if you're going to be the guy who does To Pimp a Butterfly and wants to cast a light on these issues, there's one major like humanitarian crisis going on in the world today that you should speak on if you're going to be that guy. You know, if you're not going to be that guy, you don't have to say Free Palestine. You don't have to like live by that. You don't have to say that. But one thing that really got to me on this one, if if I have a criticism for this, for Kendrick, not just as like as an artist as a whole, is like I don't think I like his politics as much as I would think for a guy who like is kind of fake woke, or like, you know what I mean? Like, when I listen to his music, and I've listened to it a lot, like early on, he had a lot of that kind of stuff where he's like, you know, I like girls that, you know, don't have to wear makeup. I like girls that can wear their hair natural, like very like pro Black pride. And then, you know, people were starting to realize, oh, he's just kind of like a hotep, you know, he's just kind of like a Black misogynist a little bit, you know? And again, it's like, that's fine if you're just listening to him for music, like just for the music as a musician. I think he's really great. But it really got me thinking today, and a lot yesterday too, when I was on my walks, my reflection walks, I like to call them. Tupac, you know, I love Tupac. I grew up loving him. And this was a guy who fucking said what he thought about everything. You know what I mean? And was like raised by a Black Panther and had like a real revolutionary spirit. And like, it made me like listening to Kendrick try to channel Tupac on that song Reincarnated, which granted is one of my favorite songs. I want to talk about that a little bit. But that was like, it was such a stark contrast when I'm listening to one guy who's just kind of a nerd, and then another guy who like really felt this shit in like a real way. And anyways, did you, Ibrahim, we talked a little bit about Kendrick in the past, because you're not the biggest fan of his either, right? Just like from a rapping standpoint. Yeah, is that fair?
Yeah, like I think he's good, and I get the appeal, but like, there's a way of crafting rap that I really appreciate, because it leaves me feeling like I just watched a magic trick or something. Where you're like, fuck, how did they make that go together? And he's just saying shit in a cool way, and there's value in that for sure, but it's just not where I'm like get really like psyched about it. You know what I mean?
I remember we had this conversation because we were talking about this, and I was like, yeah, he's like lyrical. And you're like, he's not though. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, he's Kendrick Lamar. And you were like, yeah, but it's mainly just like, it's like percussive the way he raps. And I was like, oh, you're right.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I was like, oh,
Yeah,
that
it's
makes
more.
total
He's more
sense.
about like the rhythms of it. Yeah, he's not like stringing together phrases that were like the whole sentence rhymes with the whole sentence after it, and you're like, he made that work and it made sense, like, you know, from a content standpoint. Like, he's just like, that's what I mean. He's just kind of like, he's sort of like dancing with his voice a little bit. You know what I mean? And you're
Yeah.
like it sounds dope, but it's not. He's not using like incredible similes or double entendres all that much, and like, you know, I mean, he definitely does some of like A minor and all that shit, but like,
He does
you
it,
know,
but
it's
it's
not
funny
on a
because
level.
I think because he's so artistic in the overall presentation, people love to read into things that he says to have deeper meanings that aren't always there.
Yes.
So they project a lot of like, oh, he's thinking on like a higher level than he actually is. But like, because I remember thinking like, I'm gonna prove Ibrahim wrong. Like, he can definitely rhyme really well. Don't get me wrong. But I was like, I'm gonna prove him wrong. He had said some really clever stuff, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, wait, what did he say? That was. but my like, I want to talk about like growing up liking rap music, because I did. I know you both did too. My relationship with rap has always been, I just like guys who sound cool. You know what I mean? They've
Pretty
never.
much.
I think maybe it's like West Coast, like different kind of West Coast than you, Ibrahim, because I was not like backpacker guy ever. You know, but like I liked.
Well, West Coast was definitely more about the vibes than like the lyrics,
Right.
like especially in the earlier phases of hip hop. You know what I mean? Like, or like when it got into like more like the gangster stuff, and everybody was sampling Zapp and Roger, and it was all these like,
Yes.
you know, West
And I
Coast
love
808 like talk box. Oh, me too. Like, that's, you know,
Yeah.
popping, and like the dancing I do, like that's the shit you know. But
I thought
yeah,
Zapp
like,
and Roger were Mexican.
I mean, my first were they?
No, I thought they were.
I don't think so.
No, they're not.
I was like, I don't believe so.
I'm trying to take them too, man.
But
I
yeah,
just assumed.
yeah. So when it came down to like hearing more West Coast stuff, it wasn't until people like Crooked Eye and, you know, some of those dudes started like coming out that I was like, oh, okay, these guys are really rapping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Para says, I remember on Cherry Bomb, Tyler criticized To Pimp a Butterfly with a line that said, "Yeah, we all black. Who gives a fuck?" Great point. He also says, in my hater era, I used to describe Kendrick as someone white people pretend they love to not be called racist. I definitely understand that during To Pimp a Butterfly era. And I guess a little Good Kid, Mad City. But like, no, I guess his whole run, he's been kind of like Taylor Swift would be like, I love Kendrick Lamar because she's not racist, you know?
Sure.
But yeah, like
Yeah.
growing up, like, did you like Tupac, Ibrahim? Or
No, not
Yeah,
really.
Tony-
I liked a couple songs. I like the songs, like I liked, you know, California, because it had
Mhm.
Zapp and Roger shit in it. And I liked,
yeah,
you know, I liked a few, but like I couldn't connect to. I like the ones where he was being like conscious, you know, Dear Mama and like that kind of stuff, Thugs Mansion or whatever, like where he's like rapping and it's like it's not about like I fucked your bitch and a blah blah blah. Right? I could not get into that stuff because I
Hit 'em
was
up.
like, I don't live that life. I don't aspire to that life. I don't think it's cool. Like, so it's not for me, you know. Plus, a lot of annoying people that I knew were like Tupac, and they wore Tupac shirts, and I'm like, you've never even heard good rap. Like, you don't even know what you like, you know.
Wasn't he dead by then, though? Was this like after he was dead?
what do you mean?
This was like,
Well,
it was like,
Because
yeah, it would have been
because our
like right
generation
after
was
he
rapping.
died.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because it was like I was in middle school when he died, and so that was also like because Life After Death came out. Was it? No, that was a
It was
Biggie
I think he died in
album.
90,
What was the one
96 he
that?
died?
What was the Tupac one that came out like
Posthumously?
posthumously? I feel like, yeah,
Is
I
it-
feel like that one really
Is it
blew up.
Machiavelli or
No, Machiavelli was right before. But I don't like. There's been so many that I don't even know like which.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
It's
You know, there were
Um,
dudes who just like wear the big Tupac shirts, and it was like, okay, Brian,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
live on Sexton
Yeah.
Mountain, dog. You're not, you know, like.
So it's funny because I liked Tupac when I was younger, but then when I got into high school, there was those guys that were like, he is. Yeah, don't whatever you're doing, stop doing that.
I had a phone call come in. I had to.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Sorry. I was like, oh no, I could hear myself again. Sorry. No, like when Tupac when I was in high school, there was a bunch of dudes who like said the same thing. They were like, he's the poet, he's the greatest poet ever, he's blah blah blah. And I'm like, really? Have you listened to the music? A lot of it's just like, you know, I want to kill motherfuckers, blah blah blah. And like it is a lot of that. But one thing when I got into it, like deeper into Tupac when I was a little older, and I was not like just sort of like making assessments based on like who likes things, you know. So I didn't like a lot of things because people liked them, to be honest. But
Right.
when I was but when I got into it, it's like I realized there was this definite like, I don't want to say degeneration, but there was early Tupacalypse Now Tupac, where it's all super conscious. That was Brenda's Baby. He has a song I was listening to a bunch of it today called like Violent, where it's just about like, you know, the media portrays black people as violent, and so that's how they're going to behave if they are not giving any other options or any like sort of, you know, if they're not given any love. Like a lot of his messages about like why black people sort of embrace like, you know, thug life and all that shit is because they're products of their environment, and they're not going to grow beyond that until they have an understanding of like class consciousness, and not just black people. That's also what I loved about Tupac, is he talks about Mexicans and, you know, other people too. But when as he got older and as he became more sort of like disillusioned by systems, I think all of his work got darker, to where you get to Machiavelli, where he sounds like a demon in that album. Like even the way he sounds on it, where it's just like he's just rapping multiple tracks, so you hear his voice like slipping in and out, like he's just like kind of crazy and like dark. And that's why the song Reincarnated, it's so fascinating to me, from Kendrick, because he takes a song that Tupac made called Made N-Words, you know, from the gang related soundtrack. It was kind of like a rare Tupac track, but he uses the sample from like that beat, basically just the whole beat. And he's talking about how sort of he's talking about being a reincarnated spirit, not of just Tupac, which is like a very surface level thing. And there have been a lot of people who talk about like he's a reincarnated version of like this guitar player, which is not true because the bio doesn't fit, or this gospel singer or you know, jazz singer, and that doesn't work either because none of the bios fit. And I think it like who he's singing about matters less than the idea of he's the embodiment of like the darkness in black music in America, and the way people called it like devil music, and how it was like always this like dangerous, edgy, scary thing, and how Kendrick himself has been sort of struggling with how to use that to be something positive. And again, it's sort of funny because it's like this weird hypocritical thing where he says, I don't want to be a savior, but he's also talking about like he's in this business now, and he's creating art within this context, and he's making it with other people who don't have any sort of like acknowledgement of what they're making. You know what I mean? Like they're just making it because that's like what they do, right? There's not like a second level of thinking of like, what am I making and how does this help or hurt people? Not in totality or anything, but like broadly speaking, mainstream rap music, you know, you listen to it and it's not trying to be empowering or uplifting or anything. But it honestly had me thinking a lot about comics, because how can you not just sort of think about the thing that you do when you're listening to that, you know? And it got me thinking about like I've been pretty lucky that a lot of the comics that I've been able to make have been sort of things that have like some sort of political message to them. And usually people hire me to do weird shit anyways. So there's always some sort of like artistic underlying like framework. But there's also a lot of people in comics that are just kind of making like junk, you know, like just mindless entertainment. And it's sort of like I could see what Kendrick's talking about when he, at the end of this song, he has this conversation with God who's like, I gave you this thing and you can profit off of it, and you can choose whether or not you want to use this in a way that in any way is like edifying to your community or to your listeners or your audience, or you can do what people have been doing like for decades, which is let it consume them, burn them out, and then they end up dead in jail, you know, addicted to substances, whatever. And you know, it was like really powerful. You know, I was on my walk, so I was, you know, like I said, reflecting. But it was that's my favorite song on it, because it is like it's like he's having this like out of body experience conversation with himself. It was just really good. I encourage whoever to listen to it if they haven't yet.
What was the name of that one?
That was the reincarnated one, where it's like he's doing Tupac,
okay.
you know? And like that in that song, it opens up with Tupac talking about how, like, you know, it's the prototypical late period Tupac song where he's like this mafia don killer who's gonna fucking kill everybody, but it opens up saying like, I could only ever be this way. And it's sort of like this like, since I was born with hate. And there was another Tupac song called Reincarnation where he talks about like, if I die, the only thing I fear about death is that I'd be reincarnated, because then basically it's like you're gonna live that cycle again. And this Kendrick song is sort of like, can I break this cycle? Because he feels like Tupac. Again, I don't think he's as good as Tupac, honestly. I like his music a lot. Kendrick's one of my favorites, but you know, I don't think he's as on the same level as Tupac yet, or you know, he might have some growth to do yet. But he's one of the things I posted on Bluesky about today was like the difference between these two guys is so clear. Where like another song I really like on this is called Gloria, where it's Kendrick rapping about his like writing process and his pen, and he's talking about like how he's like, you know, he has this complex relationship with it, because like it gives him everything, but it also takes everything from him, which, you know, again, very relatable if you make comics. Like this is the thing that we love. We've invested our life into it. It means as much to me as like any other kind of like human relationship could, is like the act of making this art. But it also takes everything from me, you know. It also has denied me, you know, all kinds of social, financial stability or whatever, because it's a hard thing to make a living at, honestly. But so like Kendrick can have that conversation, but at the end of it, he ends it with, oh, by the way, this song is about my pen. Like this woman I've been singing about, it's not a woman, it's my pen. And then Tupac has this song, Me and My Girlfriend, where he's just talking about like finger fucking this chick, and when she comes, it's like thunder going out because it's a gun. And you're like, oh yeah, that's a gun. That's not a woman. And he never has to say, this is my gun. No, he just says, he just builds the metaphor. And
didn't Common do that same thing at the end of his song where he said that song he did about, yeah, he has that one song about like his bits or whatever.
A little more. It was called I Used to Love Her, and it was about the different phases that hip hop went through, and he was describing hip hop like a woman who he had a relationship with.
Does he ever say at the end of it, like, I was talking about hip hop?
It's almost exactly what he says. He goes, and who I'm talking about, y'all, is hip hop, right?
Yeah.
But I think in that one, like, it wasn't quite as obvious, I guess. Like, I don't know, maybe it is, but I remember at the time when I was a kid, and you know, I was probably 16 when I first heard that song, and it was like blew my mind. You know, now I'd probably be like, all right, I get it. I don't think you had to say it, you know.
In fairness, I have a nephew who's 13, 14. He heard this Kendrick album. He loves it, right? That probably would blow his mind.
Yeah.
Like, what? He was talking about writing songs the whole time? That's crazy. You know what I mean?
It's like, but, the Sixth Sense.
What is so cool about Tupac is that when he's rapping about his gun, the gun is also kind of a metaphor for like the anger of this people who, you know, have been disenfranchised. I mean, he's always said that, like, the rage in his songs is just a reflection of the anger of his community. And, you know, so it's like, there's always like a second layer to, even when he's saying that like evil, dark crime shit, I've always liked that about Tupac, even though like you kind of have to reach for it because some of them he is just being like a violent person, you know, like a hateful violent person for sure. But
yeah, I think for me it was like it was never enjoyable enough to listen to try to like penetrate it for whatever he was saying, you know. It's just my personal taste.
No, for sure, yeah. Like I don't. That's one of those things where it's just like I don't fault you specifically for being like, how could you not like this? I understand why you wouldn't like it. It's not your thing at all. But
yeah,
I mean, well, some of them are obviously, like you said, like Changes, like that's just kind of an undeniable banger, you know.
Yeah.
But it's also why like some of the backpacker stuff that you grew up with, I would be like a little out of my depth with probably.
Yeah, and that stuff's interesting too because like there's gateway backpacker rap, like lyrical miracle shit, and then you get in like anything that you become a fan of, you start to get into the more niche esoteric versions of it, right?
Right.
And I feel like there aren't that many layers to like the other side of the fence, which is the more like populist type of stuff. So when everybody I knew who liked that shit also liked Tupac, I was like, there can't be much to it. And I don't like the way it sounds, so I'm just not gonna, you know.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things that was funny was earlier this year when Kendrick and Drake had their whole back and forth. I remember we talked about it then too, and you were like super disinterested because you were like, I don't need to hear two millionaires fighting with one another. But
yeah, exactly.
You know, that's
like,
fair.
And you know me, I love battle rap. I'm friends with battle rappers. Like, you know, I grew up going to battles. But that to me is just kind of like, you know, donate to a fucking community center or something, dude. Like, stop. Like, you know.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it just because, not even because of like, because like it was pretty one-sided. Like Kendrick was putting out good songs and Drake wasn't. But I just really enjoyed it because it was just something fun. It was like, this is kind of fun, you know.
Yeah, you love drama.
I do love drama.
It's all, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is why like it's so funny because it had almost completely died down, this whole thing, and then for some reason Drake decided, like, let me remind everybody what an asshole and a little bitch I am by suing, not Kendrick Lamar, by the way. He sued Universal Music Group twice, which is his own label, because he accused them of hyper-inflating like the song. Like he was like, people didn't really like this song. Like what happened was people bought it, and then you paid people to pretend to like it, and then all those people with influence, they went out and then they told everybody that to like it as well. And it was such a funny like thing to sue them over because he knows they did that for his music too. So like, yeah, if they did it, okay, but also like there was a huge appetite for people who wanted to see Drake fail. The like, we hate Drake community has always been huge. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I never liked Drake.
Dude, that was, you know, you talk about like the loss of the monoculture a lot, right? And like that was really like almost a monocultural moment. There were people who do not listen to rap who were talking about the Kendrick and Drake beef, you know,
which was very annoying.
I saw so much of it online. Yeah. Oh yeah. It was like Hamilton. It was like when Hamilton was there.
Yeah. So the other lawsuit, by the way, because he's doing two. He's like, one is they lied about how popular that song actually was. The second one is also it's defamation. So I'm suing you guys for not stopping this from coming out, which is insane. Like, how can you sue them for like, I don't like that somebody else said this and you happen to be the one to release it? That's nuts.
Wait, so Drake's own label that he owns?
He doesn't own it. He's just part of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
So they're on the same. They're part of the same umbrella.
Yeah, Universal
group, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, that's wild.
Is that the most cowardly act in all of hip hop's history?
Yeah, I've never heard of anything like that amongst like in the culture. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's different than, I grew up going to battles and battling people. If you didn't like somebody or had beef with them, I'll see you on the dance floor. Like, it was very much like that. And this is like, we're talking, multi-millionaires who are like world famous and stuff. It's a different arena, but like under the principles of the culture of hip hop, suing somebody for like eviscerating you in a diss track is one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
Yeah, it'd be more like appealing if he like threw a punch at him or something. Like that would be like, all right, well, I get that. Like,
yeah, Para says music is like comics. 3 companies on everything. Yep.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay, so to that, using that analogy, like, can you imagine if you put out a comic and another comic came out around the same time as yours and did better, and you tried to sue like the same publisher because
it would be like
you thought they over promoted the other book?
It would be like if Jason Aaron sued DC because Absolute Batman did better than Absolute Superman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, this is bullshit. Why did Absolute Batman pop off and Absolute Superman did not? Which, by the way, Absolute Batman popped off. What a book.
Yeah, what a book.
Dragata Army is thriving right now, baby.
Big shout out to Dragata.
Oh, the homie, for real,
hey,
for real.
My little bar about Dragata got a lot of ricotta is really happening now with the fucking sales of that book.
That's never been we should think of some more like
true.
Yeah, we should think of some more rap bars. Though I remember the one for you when we were fake beefing was Ibrahim Mustafa, he ain't moving nada.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Man, I had a really good one. Let me see if I wrote this down in my notes app, because I was like, I gotta remember this shit for next time me and Ramon.
I feel like, oh, you have one for me?
I'm trying to see if I do. I had one that I was like, I gotta remember this.
I remember one time when I was on my reflection walks before I fell off, so not this round of reflection walks, but like late last year, I had some bars for you that I was like, just in case. It was during, you know what? No. It wasn't during, it was during the Kendrick Drake thing. So I'm like, I better prepare some bars in case I got to go off on Ibrahim. But I don't remember what any of them are. I don't remember a single one. And I was, now I'm a little bit upset. It was something definitely about packages. I remember because you were complaining about packages and I was about to bar you out with like some UPS shit.
I gotta see, maybe I emailed this to myself or something.
You emailed yourself the bar? That's crazy.
I'm hoping I did.
I don't think that's ever happened in hip hop, bro.
Dude.
I remember one of the most annoying L's that I've had is I remember one time because a lot of people don't know this about us. We both, you're a better rapper than me, but I feel like sometimes I'll come up with some very creative, unique stuff. We should at some point in the show we should have a bar fest,
Absolutely. Oh my god.
That would be so embarrassing, but it would be so good. I remember one time when we were saying, I forgot what I was doing, but I told you like, hey, come up with some bars about like Watchmen. It was just like a general prompt. And I cooked so hard on that.
Yeah.
I remember like I felt like I really went crazy.
I don't remember what you said, but
I don't remember what I said either. All I remember was I ended with like I did that 30 minutes ago or some shit like that.
Yeah.
That was the end of the bar. But anyways, listen. Ibrahim is a trained professional. I am not a trained professional. When we eventually have this bar fest, he's going to be saying some cool shit. I'm going to be saying some very cringe, very lame shit, but I might get one off. And do not be surprised if I get one off.
We had one about like that was Ninja Turtle themed.
The Ninja Turtle ones, yeah, and we still have those on. Those are still on. We were texting those back and forth.
Okay, yeah, I should look those up.
Yeah, I remember I had something for you.
Yeah, what? Let me see if that's that. If I could find that, that would be amazing.
Yeah. While you look for that, Tony, you want to go over the your picks? Tony the Greek?
Yeah, Tony the Greek. I had a rough week last week, whatever week that was. 5-8 against the spread. Had some disappointments. The Chiefs let me down. They couldn't cover against the Carolina Panthers. And your 49ers.
Oh boy. Listen, Don't talk to me about the fucking 49ers, bro. It is
Yeah.
basketball season. And Steph
I have to
Curry's
say-
hurt, so I'm watching movies right now.
Good thing you're a movie guy.
Dude, good thing I'm a film guy, bro. For real, for real.
I have to say my Cujo of the week is Saquon Barkley. Man went off.
How could it not be? He's one of the greatest. He's literally one of the greatest that we've seen in the game.
Yeah. Congrats, Giants. Good job with that.
Yeah, bunch of jabrones.
My yeller is Skylar Thompson. I fucking hate you.
Whoa.
He comes in for one play. We're up 31-7 with 8 minutes left in the game. McDaniel pulls Tua because we have a game Thursday night. Puts in Skylar Thompson to run the clock out. First play, hands the ball off. Instead of putting it in the running back's breadbasket, he puts it up in his fucking chest, and the guy bobbles it. Cornerback for the Patriots grabs it, runs for a touchdown. It's 31-15, and we got to put Tua back in the game. That
Wow.
Get off my team. You're a bum. So,
All right, let's run through this week's, okay?
yeah.
The Bears at Lions.
Bears at Lions. That's the Turkey Day game. I got the Lions by 7.
It's the Lions got 10.5 points, so you're taking the Lions easily.
I'm taking the Lions. Yeah, I'm giving 10.5.
Okay, we got New York Giants at Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh, that's a stinker. I guess the Cowboys. Cowboys are going to be favored by 2.5.
3.5. They're giving an extra point.
All right, I'm going to take the Giants on that one. So I need to talk over Jesse. Damn.
Amazing.
So we got,
I'm taking 3.5 in the Giants on that one.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I mean, oh, so you're picking the Giants, not the Cowboys.
Yeah. Give me
Okay.
them points. Give me the Giants.
Yeah, I mean they're at home, so they're basically favored by a point or like half a point.
Yeah.
So, right. Yeah, I don't even know. I have no clue with that game. That's a mess. Dolphins at Packers.
I'm gonna say Packers by 4.
Okay, the Packers are favored only by 3.
3.
And it's at home, so that's basically a pick 'em.
I'm gonna take the Packers. Miami, I love you, but prove it. It's gonna be cold. It's gonna be 20 degrees. It's a primetime game.
Yeah,
I gotta take the Packers.
I think it's gonna be snowing as well.
Possibly, yeah.
Oh, by the way, I talked to my boy Brent Schoonover because his Packers beat my Niners, and he had like a hole-in-one in frisbee golf. So I feel like he was really flexing on me. I didn't like that, but you know what? Shout out to him. Las Vegas Raiders at Kansas City Chiefs.
I got the Chiefs giving 7.
12.
Wow,
Bruh.
bro. I'm gonna take. Oh man. All right, I'm gonna take the Chiefs. I'm gonna give 12. I'm gonna take the Chiefs.
I almost want to take the Raiders. Here's why.
Yeah.
Because I hate the Raiders. Always have, always will. But they every once in a while the Raiders will get one on the Chiefs because the Chiefs do not take them serious. And the Chiefs just were in a rock fight against the Panthers.
Yeah.
So
It's tempting to pick the Raiders, but I can't.
you can't narrowly win a game against the Panthers at all.
Ew, that's disgusting.
Exactly. Los Angeles Chargers at Atlanta Falcons.
I'm gonna say Falcons by 1.5.
Chargers are favored by 2 points.
Oh wow, I'm taking the Falcons.
You know how I feel about that? Do not care about that game, bro. Let's continue. Los Angeles Chargers at just that one. Pittsburgh Steelers at Cincinnati Bengals.
I got Pittsburgh by 1.5.
Cincinnati 2.5 point favorites.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna take the Bengals.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, how could you not? You had. Anyways, Texans versus the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Texans by 4.
Jags. Oh yeah, Texans are favored by 5. So
yeah, I'll take the Texans.
Dude, they are getting you lately because you're so close, and that's why you're getting got because you're just like you're right there, and they're like, how about another point?
Look at your day job. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, I want another point. Like you want that action, and you're like, fuck, give me that action.
Give me that action. That's how they get
Yeah.
you. That's why the house always wins.
Yeah. Cardinals at Vikings.
I got Vikings by 3.5.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Boom. I'm gonna
On the
take
money.
the Vikings in that one.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, they just lost to the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and that whole division is a mess. The whole division embarrasses me.
Nobody wants it.
The Indianapolis Colts at the New England Patriots.
Oh, what a fucking shit game. I guess I'll take the Colts. They're going to be given 3.5.
Colts are favored by 2.5.
Okay, yeah, I'll take the Colts in that.
Okay, the Seahawks at the New York Giants.
Giants? You mean Jets?
Oh, sorry, yes.
I got Seattle, but I think New England. The Jets are the Jets going to be favored in this game?
No.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Seattle's going to be favored by 3.5.
2 points.
Damn. Yeah, I'm taking Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
2 points. That's crazy. They should be favored by more. I just figured, because we always see the Jets being favored in every game. Because
well, we're still there. I mean, if you can be that bad and still be a 2-point underdog,
yeah,
there's still some market correction need to be made here. Aaron Rodgers.
You fucking donut.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tennessee Titans at Washington Commanders.
I got the Commies, and they're going to be favored by 3.5.
Mm-hmm. The Commanders are favored by 5.5.
Oh wow! Give me the Commanders.
Got it.
Laying 5.5.
Tampa Bay Bucks at the Carolina Panthers.
Oh wow, Carolina. I got Tampa by 4.5.
Tampa 6 points favorites.
I'm gonna take Carolina plus 6
because they were in that rock fight against the lowly Chiefs.
Yeah, Bryce Young showed me something.
You know what he showed me? So the Los Angeles Rams at the New Orleans Saints.
Rams are going to be favored by 3.
Okay, the Rams are favored by exactly 3.
I'm fucking nailing it. I got the Rams. That's my girl.
That's the Costco hoe. Shout out to all caps cat on TikTok, our favorite TikToker. So you're taking the Rams?
Yeah, taking the Rams, laying 3.
Just right on the money. Okay, Eagles at Baltimore Ravens.
Eagles are going to be favored. Ravens will be favored by 1.
Ravens are favored by 3.
Wow, give me the Eagles.
Yeah, give me the Eagles too.
Yeah,
because I don't like the Ravens defense, and Saquon Barkley has been on a tear.
Same.
You know what? Derrick Henry had a good week last week, so maybe that's just going to be one of the worst sort of running games that we're going to see.
Yeah,
it might be no footballs thrown from two glorified back quarterbacks.
mm-hmm.
A running and a fullback. Sunday Night Football, San Francisco.
Oh wow!
San Francisco 49ers at the Buffalo Bills.
Anything you want to say before I pick this game?
Yeah, I want to say, Brandon Allen.
You fucking donkey!
I do not have any faith in you. I have none. If Brock Purdy plays, I'm really fucked because that's not even a guy on the team. But if Brock Purdy plays, I have to have some amount of faith. But the whole team is banged up. I just read today that Fred Warner has been playing since week 4 with the fractured ankle. He's been getting shot up every game and running around on one leg. No wonder he stinks.
No.
My whole team is a fucking an injury ward. It's a maternity ward. They're giving babies. They're fucking giving birth to bums out there. I hate this team. I hate watching them. I can't do it anymore. That's it.
Buffalo Buffalo's going to be favored by 10.
No, only 7.
Oh, wow. I'm laying the 7. Yeah. Buffalo. That could get ugly.
Well, listen. Give me Buffalo and 7 points. Or the Niners could show me something. Listen, I want to say last week I picked the Niners because it was a must-win game and they lost it. But that was when I thought Brock Purdy was playing. So I do not want that going against my record. I would have changed it the second I saw that Brock Purdy wasn't playing. That's all.
Yeah. And he's out this week too. Right?
He's likely to play.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Still, I'm Buffalo laying 7.
Beta.
You know what? This is the segment where I'm going to go overboard on sound effects from now on.
Perfect. Get it out of your system.
Yeah. Okay. And then one more game, obviously. Cleveland Browns at Denver Broncos.
Broncos are going to be favored by 6.
They are favored by 5.5.
Man, I'm so good at this.
Well, yeah, but what was your record last week?
Oh, no, I'm good at picking the spreads. I'm not good at picking the
yeah.
games. No, I'm horrible at that. I got the Broncos. I'm going to lay the 5.5.
Yeah, because your record was miserable last week.
Yeah, it was. 5-8 was last week. Overall, I'm 13-14. So 1 game under 500, just like my beloved Miami Dolphins.
God damn it. Anyways, I was trying to do another.
I found a bunch of our raps, and I'm trying to text you the screen caps so that you can read your parts, but the texts aren't going through. I don't know.
No, I'm seeing one of them here.
Okay, there should be like 3, and then
I only see
one is a screen cap that you sent me from like our Twitter messaging, or maybe it's your phone. I can't remember. I'll try sending that one.
You want to read these right now?
Yeah, I found the Ninja Turtle ones. Let's do that. We did a sitcom one that wasn't that good.
Oh, okay. I can't find. I don't see.
You know, I can DM them to you. Hold up. That'll be easier. I labeled the Turtles ones 1 and 2.
Yeah, I only
so
see 2 for some reason.
Okay.
Why am I not seeing?
I don't know how. Like, we wrote these. Like, this is literally like 4 years ago. So I don't know how this is gonna.
Yeah, apparently, like, I deleted our messages at some point because I only see like from March.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's cool.
That's very annoying. I never do that.
No, but what I did notice. Well, first of all, there's something we were just talking about. I found photos of the Optimus Prime that Sophie got you when you sent them to me.
Yeah. Oh, for real?
Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah, I have him like playing
Bluesky.
playing a guitar and shit. Shit's fire.
All right, let me drop these real quick. Oh, I forgot you can't send. All right, I'll put them in the El Camino chat because you can't send photos on Bluesky.
Bluesky.
That's annoying. All right, so here's the Ninja Turtle wraps. Mine are the green ones.
Okay, you're sending these here?
Yeah, they're in the.
All right.
They're in the El Camino chat.
I know when I sent you this, I was like, "Hey, who's your favorite Ninja Turtle by any chance?" And I was like, "I know he has."
And I was like, "I've always been a Raphael guy, but lately Leonardo's appealing to me more." And little did I know you're about to come back at me with like, "Oh, okay, here you go."
I was premeditated. I was on my Kendrick Lamar shit. I was very calculated in this moment. Yeah. I said, "When the Foot Clan see me, they say this dude's psycho. I better move pronto. End up in the news, slice throat. Footage on YouTube with hella views, viral. I black out and no telling where these two psy go. When the Foot Clan see you, they say Leo is awkward as fuck because you got them sharp ass swords. But when you win the cup, they never see you chop it up. I'm in the alley doing damage with the Jose Canseco bat, but you never in the streets. We always thinking, where you at? That was, I mean, listen, for a non-rapper, admit that was incredible. For a layman, you know, I never spit bars before. This was unprompted.
Or like the Psy reference.
Man, one of mine got
crazy
cut off,
that.
but I think I can remember what I said. All right, so I came back and I said, "Yo, who's the leader though? What are you trying to say? Step to the foot out of line and get these katana blades. You knucklehead, get the knuckles a couple times, kick some trouble rhymes, chuckle and let out a couple sighs." Like double entendre. And you're like, "Oh, that's bars though." And then you said something about Master Splinter's dick.
Yeah, but you cut off probably what I'm assuming were some good bars though.
No, that was it. You just said
no
at home on Master Splinter's dick.
No, that's not what happened.
Stay at home rat.
You cut off the rest of it. Stop lying.
No, that's what was there. And then
that's what was in your screenshots, but those are weak ass screenshots.
No, look, if you look at the top of it, it's green. So that was like all you said. And then I said,
clearly phones are fucked up. There's clearly some fucked up.
That's probably it. You know what? Let's sue AT&T for defamation. We're gonna.
This is absolutely insane. What's happening right now? Hold on.
Then I said, get sized up, then side down. Hang you from the side of a building upside down. You garbage fuck. Have you doing a swan dive with a half gainer right into the back of a garbage truck?
That was hard.
Remember that line from Secret of the Ooze? I said, tried to kick it with the champ. You got kicked like a chump. Now you and your boys all kick it at the dump. There's no secret to the ooze.
That was
the
hard.
secret is I'm dope. The truth is that you lose, motherfucker. Time.
That was hard. That was hard. But I feel like a little bit some of my bars were like eaten up by history. So I don't know how to feel about that, but that's okay.
If that's, I mean, what's funny though is like some of these are like you'll text me like if I'm going through some shit or having like a rough time, like you'll send me like bars, just like you'll start battling me to like lift my spirits and shit. So that's what some of these were. I
awesome.
found that I lost the place of it. I thought I downloaded it, but it didn't take. But the one, oh, here it is. I found our pizza wraps. Remember when we were battling about pizza? About frozen pizzas?
You won that on multiple levels, by the way, because you won that on the level of Freshetta is better than DiGiorno's, and you were barring out.
All right, I'm going to drop that one in the chat as well right now. This is your screenshot, so I can't be blamed for any.
Why do you have my screenshots?
Because you sent it to me.
Why would I send you a screenshot of our conversation? Wait, which one?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Which one is? I'm the green one.
You're the green one in this one because it's from your screen.
That's weird. Why did that happen? And see, this is missing bars up front because you were saying something about the pizza. Put it in the pizza.
Oh shit, I was.
Give me pizza. Give me pizza.
Anyways, I said, check it. I said, your rising crust ain't surprising us. Your pepperonis are phony. Your mozzarella, that's trash, fella. And you know Betta Pie, you'd skip the Freshetta guy. If you knew Betta Pie, you'd skip the Freshetta guy. That's crazy. That was terrible. And then you said what?
These weren't our best work. I said
no. This is early.
I said you can't get a pizza. The best stuff's too biscuity for you with the heat. And then I said, slow it down. I just dissed you. I said you can't get a piece of the best. Stuff these two biscuits here for you with the heat. Which is like not that tight, but at the time I remember being like, I fucking cooked. I cooked this pizza.
Oh, see, my pizza gives you that. Is this delivered taste? Your pizza gives you that. If this is delivered, we should try another place. That's crazy. No, that's still hard.
Yeah,
I love those kind
on
of
this one because I don't know what I was trying to get off with this. I said your pizza bars are like Seth Rogen's best slogan. Your toppings are a meth gorgon's best organ. I think we were like,
these are just
I
grind
think we
time
were like
bars that
making
we're
fun
doing.
of those kind of bars at that time. So
I think
was
we were
like,
just doing grind
let me
time bars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Time.
Time.
We'll listen for the people that are watching that love to see people embarrass themselves. We'll do this again, and we won't look up bars that for some reason screenshots that I'm sending you of our screenshots. That's crazy. When I did have all our messages, I don't know when they got deleted, but I would just search bars and I would see because we would always go bars. That's bars. Shit like that.
Oh shit. Oh, I didn't think you could. Maybe I can do that on mine. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, at any rate, let's get into the top 7 movies because Tony's got top 7 romantic comedies. Now, is this all time, Tony, or did you make it specific to like a certain?
I did all time.
Okay.
All time, and these are obviously my specific favorites. So, number 7, No Reservations, 2007, with Catherine Zeta-Jones and Aaron Eckhart. And to me, this kind of fits that normie rom-com vibe that I require sometimes. Because I love to sit around on a rainy day and just watch rom-coms like a sap.
I know that you do. You love to sit around and watch a rainy day in New York City. One of your favorite rom-coms. I'm assuming that's on the list.
We're not gonna talk about that one. Number 6, Harold and Maude, classic.
That's
classic,
a legendary movie.
Legendary movie. I would put it. No Reservations is very normal, very normie, very like.
I remember when it came out. I think I was working in the video store.
It involves a kitchen with a chef. Catherine Zeta-Jones is a very very obsessed chef in New York City.
Is she on the cover like the movie poster wearing like a chef white coat like? Yeah,
and he's like behind her
one of those
in the
like,
coat as well.
Get out of my kitchen.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, she has a family tragedy she has to take care of. So when she's away from her kitchen, the owner of the restaurant hires Aaron Eckhart to take her spot until she comes back. And he's like a hotshot young chef, and they start off rocky, and obviously they fall in love.
Okay,
that sounds great.
What else you got?
Harold and Maude in 6, classic Hal Ashby movie, The Goat. Roman Holiday at 5.
William Wyler, legend, God tier. Written by who?
Truman Capote.
Dalton Trumbo, in exile.
Yeah. And also just to mention, I watched Breakfast at Tiffany's because I was like, before I put this list together, I should see it because it's in a lot of people's top 10. And
you kept saying that. I didn't know that it is, but go on.
Well, a lot of people talk about
when you
it.
looked up, did you look up other top 10s and it was all over the place?
Yeah, it's just like somebody's, especially New York City rom-coms, it's up there.
Okay.
And I couldn't get through 10, 15 minutes of it with Mickey Rooney's Japanese racism.
I even feel a little embarrassed you're saying it with lumping in with Roman Holiday because, I get the Audrey Hepburn, but I just feel like that's disrespectful to my guy, William Wyler, the GOAT. But continue.
He's dead, so he doesn't care.
R.I.P.
4, Say Anything, Cameron Crowe.
One of my favorite pictures.
Yeah, it's Cameron Crowe's first appearance on this list, but now his last.
Oh, wow.
Number 3, Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Okay. God tier comedy.
Yeah. Jason Segel, Mila Kunis, and some other people we won't mention.
Yeah, a lot of
number
other people.
2. Yeah, a lot of other people. Number 2, Singles, Cameron Crowe, 1992. This personally was just a huge movie when I was a teenager. I was a 16-year-old grungy punk kid who loved everything about Seattle and wanted to move there. And that's what I thought my life would be like if I moved there. And obviously, they just go walking down the street. They go to a bar and they go watch Alice in Chains perform live. I'm like, oh, that's what Seattle must be like. You can just walk into a dive bar and see Pearl Jam. So before number 1, I'll give you my honorable mentions. I have The Cutting Edge.
Love it. My guy, DB Sweeney.
I have to give a shout out to the Sandman and our favorite Drew Barrymore. Their movies, 51st Dates and Wedding Singer.
2 classics. They have another one. I think they had Blended, if I recall correctly.
I didn't watch it. Is that a Netflix one? Or?
Yeah, it was late period. Probably not worth our time.
Buffalo 66. That is a great movie. I don't know if you call it a rom-com. I guess it is.
I guess it is. It is good.
Yeah.
It is good, but Vincent Gallo is sort of like a little...
yeah, problematic.
Yeah.
You've Got Mail.
You've Got Mail.
Big Fat Greek Wedding, personal favorite, and Some Like It Hot.
Okay.
My
Big
number
Fat Greek
one-
Wedding. I'm surprised that's not in your top 7.
I couldn't. I thought about it, but
Yeah.
my number one is When Harry Met Sally. That is my all-time favorite rom-com. Classic, normie pick, but that's what's in my heart.
Okay.
Are there? I don't think there's any non-normie pick rom-coms, right? Like it's such a just a populist like genre, but that's not. There's nothing wrong
I
with
would
that.
I
It's
would
just
have
like,
some.
yeah,
Like
yeah, that's true.
walking
You would.
walking
Yeah.
and talking Nicole Hall of Center. I would put that in there. I would also put I Like It Like That. That's
like
that's
I
just
Like
a
It.
personal favorite.
It's a good one.
Those Darnell Martin, Luna Lauren Velez, and John Ceta. Classic tale of Puerto Rican lovers.
Who was the guy from Werewolf in London who's in that? What's his name again? Who we just watched him in that other movie?
Oh, Griffin Dunn.
Yeah.
Yeah, classic. Is that him in there? Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Tony, where was Sarah Marshall on yours? Was that number 3?
Yeah, number 3.
That's my favorite comedy of all time. I fucking love that movie. It's so funny.
It's one of
Yeah.
my favorites too, for sure. Is there any? What about you, Ibrahim? Any romantic comedies that you felt like should have been there that he overlooked, that he didn't even do an honorable mention to?
I mean, I don't know if this is like because it's like a friendship thing, but I Love You, Man. I love that movie. I feel like it's almost like romance, like platonic romance, you know?
I almost put that in my honorable mentions. That was like really close.
But I'm just, I love Jason Segel's stuff. I feel like there's one that I used to really love, but I haven't seen it. Oh, there was one with Nicolas Cage where he's like a cop in New York and he like
it could happen to you.
Forgets his wallet. Yeah, it could happen to you, right? He forgets his wallet and he pays the waitress with a lottery ticket and it ends up winning and then they like have to split it and I think they fall in love or something. I remember liking that as a kid, but yeah, I don't think I have really any that are like, no, that's got to be on there. You fucked up or anything like.
I really love the movie Broadcast News with Albert Brooks and is it Holly Hunter? No, Holly Hunter and William Hurt. That's a class one. Have you ever seen that, Tony?
Yes, I love that movie.
Wow,
Didn't
not
think
on
to
the
put
list
it in,
though.
you know?
Wow.
Yeah, didn't make the cut.
Disgusting. Pathetic. No, I mean it's a good list. I liked it, although like again, some of these arrangements like singles wouldn't be on mine. I love Cameron Crowe, but that probably wouldn't be on mine, even though I do love that movie. But I also would have to have an Elaine movie, an Elaine May movie, A New Leaf, or a Heartbreak Kid. Either one of those. What's that?
Did you guys ever see For Richer or Poorer with Tim Allen and Kirstie Alley?
Yeah, I saw it forever ago.
My sisters used to put that one on a loop. They basically like they're criminals and they're like running from the cops, and so they're like they did like committed fraud or something, and they end up like hiding amongst an Amish community and like being taken in by the Amish people, and like they don't like each other, but they end up like rekindling their marriage or whatever through just like getting back to basics and stuff. I liked that one a lot as a kid.
Our guy Brian Bad says Overboard with Goldie Hawn was so funny. I fully agree with that. That was a classic that I watched growing up. And there's one line that always cracks me up when when they gaslight Goldie Hawn, when Kurt Russell gaslights Goldie Hawn into meeting his children and telling them that those kids are her kids. One of the kids goes, "I like Pee Wee Herman." And he has like a freak ass voice, and it killed me every time I seen it as a kid. Iconic.
That is a toxic movie, though.
Super toxic, but I mean, very true to life. That's how people really would behave in that situation.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a solid list. Also, I might even put Better Off Dead on there because I'm also toxic.
You know what gets an honorable mention from me is fucking Along Came Polly, because Philip Seymour Hoffman is so funny in that movie.
Super fucking that movie. I remember thinking if this man wanted to, he could have been like he could have had a Jack Black career, like not tried at all, just been like the funniest guy in every movie.
Yeah.
but he wanted to be great too.
Oh, what's the one with Julia Roberts? My Best Friend's Wedding.
Oh, you like that one?
That got heavy rotation in my house growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and also like there's a bunch of these shitty ones that I watch more often than not, like Made in Manhattan or 2 Weeks Notice or The Proposal. They're just really trashy, shitty.
Yeah, there are movies that are not good that I love.
Yeah.
Like She's All That is like not a great movie, but I love that movie.
Yeah, same.
Same with like Can't Hardly Wait. All those teen movies from the 2000, like the early 2000s, late 90s. Like, would you consider American Pie a romantic comedy?
Yeah.
Or is that just like a teen sex
No,
comedy?
it's more of a raunchy teen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to do a teen sex comedy list because I've seen so many crazy ones. I've really exhausted like how many of those like high school or college kids get into some shenanigans type ass movies.
What was that movie we watched where it was at a party?
No,
but it was like a found footage type of like.
Oh, Project X.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. Sophie says Les Bomb.
Still haven't seen it.
Can't Hardly Wait is a gem. How dare you, Ramon? No, I love it. That's what I'm saying. Is I think it's hilarious and great, but it's like it's not always well made in that, and it's like it's kind of disjointed. But I think it's amazing. I've seen that movie more than a lot of movies. I must have seen that movie like 8 or 9 times in my life, probably. That's being conservative. Anyways, let's get on to the random issue reviews. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Love Can't Hardly Wait, says Sophie. Yeah, it's a classic for a reason.
We had a lot of fun watching that one in the chat.
And it's one of those ones where we're always like, let's watch it again. Let's watch it again.
Yeah.
It's like an intrusive thought. Like, why don't we watch Can't Hardly Wait again? Okay. Here we go. So, Ibrahim, you're going to start out first. Sorry, I already kind of spoiled it here.
No worries. So this is a comic that I picked up just randomly at Emerald City Comic Con one year. It came out in 2004. So it's, it's got some problematic dated kind of stuff in it a little bit, but
the fact that it's made by Action Lab.
Yeah.
It initially did not come out. It came out through Rorschach Entertainment. I have the original one right here.
I was trying to get
then it got re-released through Action Lab, but it was a web series or a web comic. So the whole thing is in landscape like this. So you read it, like a calendar style thing.
Oh, neat.
I feel like this might be like is that a new page in it? Yeah, that's not how mine starts. I think
they added something.
Yeah. But and I don't know the writer Christopher Mills, but Rick Burkett, I'm not sure how to say it. He did a lot of like the Batman animated comics when that like original run was coming out, and he did something with Greg Rucka like 7 or 8 years ago called like Lady something in the Pirates of the Ineffable Ether. I remember it was like a web thing that I think maybe they kickstarted. But he just does like really, really great cartooning in this. Like it's very like kind of throwback, and the main character is drawn to look like Lee Marvin. And
yeah, I mean it's exactly
like like this is not representative of what the actual book looks like, because like his style has evolved here. But like it's just very lush ink work, and it's like it reminds me of like a Parker type of story. Like it's a team of criminals, and the main guy. His name's Digger or something. That's why it's called Grave Digger. Like he gets screwed over, and like there's double crossings, and femme fatale and cool old cars and stuff. And it's just like a really fun single issue comic.
Lee Marvin played Parker, by the way, in Point Break.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why they were doing that then. But yeah, there's a lot of Toth in this, like in the influence you can tell, and yeah, it's just really, really great visually. And yeah, it's just one of those little gems that like you sort of come upon somehow at a show and you're like, wait, where's this been? And that was at a time when I was really getting into like crime comics and like Criminal had just started coming out. Yeah. So if you can, it's available digitally, and I'm sure there are print issues out there, but this story is called The Scavengers. So yeah, I think when I sent you that, I didn't realize that was something different. So my bad.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, it looks like they did another thing through Action Lab that was like continuing the character's story or something.
Shout out to Action Lab.
There's a ruling recently. They like people were trying to like get their rights back to stuff or something, and
yeah,
it didn't go their way.
Yeah.
J-Pop says, if you shitpost enough, you could probably get Ethan Embry, the lead of Can't Hardly Wait, on a podcast. Of course, I'd only ever ask him about Showtime's Brotherhood. I never seen Showtime's Brotherhood. Shout out to Ethan Embry, though. Tony, you're next?
Yeah. I got Batman 356 from 1983 by Jerry Conway, written by Jerry Conway with art by Don Newton and Don Giordano. It's basically Professor Hugo Strange is trying to single white female Batman.
Oh, wow.
And I remember when I was a kid, this is one of the books I got. I have the original from 1983. I was like 5 or 6, and my dad bought this from the newspaper store, and he read this to me like every night before I go to sleep. And I was fascinated by the idea of having 2 Batmen and one of them having a beard. And it just stuck with me. And it kind of was one of the books that got me into comics, of just seeing my favorite character fight a version of himself.
I like how Robin's like, look at this dumbass with the fucking beard, dude.
Well, those are robot versions too. So Hugo Strange is basically built like a fake Wayne Manor and filled it with robot versions of Dick and Alfred. And he's trying to drive Batman insane. So the book starts with Bruce Wayne out on a date with Vicky Vale, and he's wearing his like really nice 80s fit with like the members only jacket. And he goes to drive home, and they gas him in his car, and he falls asleep, and he wakes up in Wayne Manor. And essentially Hugo Strange is just trying to drive him insane while he's there, until he eventually like lures him down into his Batcave where he can fight him, Batman to Batman. And also like now in hindsight, having a bald Batman really piques my curiosity.
With a beard.
With a beard. that's what I would look like if I was Batman.
You said this was Don Newton?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest. The inker is Dick Giordano, right?
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of him being inked by him, but he would get inked by Alcala, and that shit looks incredible. It's not on this, but like I think Don Newton is like a guy who like you could think of as like, oh, he's kind of stiff or whatever, but like it really did depend on who was inking him. And Giordano is a beast too, but I was never like the biggest Giordano guy. But whenever he would get inked by my guy Alcala, special.
Yeah, I think this is like the art in here is suitable. I wouldn't say it blew me away or anything, but it's definitely solid, and his anatomy is great, and look at that. That's a great looking shot. And then there's at the end it's him like the bald headed Hugo Strange looking zesty, hitting him with a zesty. Oh, you don't have it in there.
No, I only picked 4 pages.
Word.
I mean, he's looking crazy.
So,
though.
Yeah, he's looking pretty nuts. But yeah, it's a fun little book. It's just a personal favorite of mine, so I chose it.
I have probably one of my picks will be from that era too. It's like my first ever Batman comic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So my comic is X-Men. Which one is this? 308. It was it's a John Romita Jr. and who wrote this shit? Scott Lobdell. Yikes. Wait, I can't remember if Scott.
That's our second Lobdell pick on the.
Shout out to Scott.
My Wildcats
maybe
pick
I don't
from
know.
our first episode.
Obviously, the main reason I picked this was because whenever I go to the shop, if there's a John Romita Jr. comic, I just buy it instinctively. I don't care what the fuck it is. This motherfucker is so great, man. Look at these fits that he's drawing on them. The whole issue is basically what I love about it is like on the cover it says like a turning point in the lives of the X-Men, you know? And then when I was reading it, it's like they just have a Thanksgiving. It's just Thanksgiving. That's why I put mine last. And it's just Jean Grey and Cyclops just like talking about their relationship for a long time about like, remember when we first met? Wasn't that crazy? Like we were X-Men. And then like, remember when we fought like Phoenix? Wasn't that crazy? And then like while they're doing that, it's just the other X-Men playing football together, which is super fucking sick because the fits go absolutely insane. Look at Gambit back there. Look at Storm looking
I really
incredible.
like that Storm drawing in that first panel. Who inked this?
I love that Gambit.
Oh, the inking is by what's his face, Dan Green, and Alve, but you know you see a lot of Dan Green stuff.
That's pass interference right there, but on Storm, it's a flag.
Our boy
Tony,
Corman
what's your pick on that?
I like how Gambit looks like Macho Man. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, he's sick. Look at that fucking it's like it's a cheat code to have the Archangel as your wide receiver, though, to be fair.
I didn't realize that was Gambit. I thought that was like Strong Guy or something. I was glancing at it.
Calls him Remy. Yeah, I had to look.
There's just so many great shots of like Jean Grey and Cyclops just hanging out, which I love. Yeah. Corman's Inferno says, "Hey, all, been here the whole time, but checking in late because I had to keep pausing during my exercise routine. LOL. That's what's up, bro. I'm glad we could, keep you company during the exercise routine."
Yeah, we were talking about how like exercise is so much easier when you have a distraction, so we appreciate being that.
Yeah. It also says, I think I used to have this comic as a kid. Looks familiar. Yeah, it's not like a I don't think it would be like a pivotal issue or anything. But dude, look at how fucking great these fucking drawings are, man.
Yeah.
Look at how fucking jacked their legs are. He just does fucking sick, like just boxy anatomy. And then they put the hurt on Professor X, just kind of crazy because he's in a wheelchair.
Not really fair. Yeah, that's kind of fucked up. Like, how do you?
But it's okay because then they get together for Thanksgiving afterwards, and everybody's geared out. Look at all these fucking sweet clothes.
Wow. Look at
Bishop looks.
This is basically
so
us
sick.
in the chat.
Look at Bishop
That's
there.
gonna.
Dude,
oh yeah.
Dude, look at Bishop. I don't even know who these motherfuckers are over here.
God damn, dude.
You got Psylocke.
Well, look at his hair.
Motherfucker back here looks like a righteous gemstone. He looks like Buddy Love, bro.
Who's the pink guy right there?
Look at Beast, the motherfucker.
That's
I think that's Forge.
Forge, yeah.
Is that Forge? Okay, I thought
Forge.
So. Yeah, he's with Storm. Is that when Storm didn't have her powers? I think.
Well, I don't know because there's no use for powers in this whole issue.
Yeah,
it's just them talking. It's just a whole lot of yapping.
Wait,
what's that in the foreground? Is that?
Oh, I think they're
on their walk, right?
Oh, they're still gone.
I think they do something at the end of it. I'll flip through.
Oh, look at Beast in the last panel. It's crazy.
They come in at the end. I think they say that they're engaged. Yeah, they get engaged in this issue. That's what. Nothing is the same.
See, this is good, JR.
Dude, it's all good. Well, dude, stop.
I like Corman's comment.
He.
Stop, bro. I can't. It's all good, JR. We love JR.
I don't know. I know Spider-Man kind of leaves me wanting, but
Baby Banshee's Bible Bonkers is nuts, dude. Yeah, exactly. He's crazy, dude. Imagine the Archangel and the fucking Righteous Gemstones. That'd be sick.
Yeah, that would be sick.
All right. Well,
it's a great book. Great pick.
Thanks.
That's gonna be us tomorrow.
Yeah. What's gonna be us tonight? As we wrap things up here, we're gonna watch our fucking annual friend group movie watching tradition. It's Thanksgiving. It's a thing. We're gonna watch The Thing, as we do every year.
I'm so pumped. I'm so hyped.
Were you here?
I've only seen that movie one time. No, I watched. I've only seen it once, and I thought it was a fucking perfect movie. So I'm excited to watch it
Yeah.
again. It's
It
been
is.
like
We
10 years since I watched it too.
Oh wow.
you know, in our group, I'm something of a visionary, and I'm an idea man. And a few years ago, we were thinking of a movie to watch for Thanksgiving that we would all be happy with. And I said, "What about The Thing? You know, it's Thingsgiving. It's a thing." So then we watched The Thing, and then we watched the other, like the Thing sequel remake. And ever since then, we watched it at least once a year around Thanksgiving. It's sort of our little tradition.
Mhm.
And you would think that's not it. The Thing, that's not a Thanksgiving movie, but it's a very cold movie, and people get carved up like turkeys. So
Mhm.
in a way, it's the most Thanksgiving movie. It's about distrusting everyone around you, and you know.
Um, yeah, I can't wait.
Do you guys have any other
I
Thanksgiving traditions?
Yes, I since I've lived in Missoula, I go to my friend Tim Daniel's house for Thanksgiving every year and spend it with his family, and we watch Home for the Holidays with it's what's her face? Oh, Jodie Foster. Jodie Foster movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
yeah,
Shout out to Jodie. I love Jodie Foster.
with Robert Downey Jr. and I think it's Helen Hunt. Yeah, it's a
Shout out.
classic.
my wife and I have started kind of doing our own little Thanksgiving dinners because when COVID, lockdown was happening, we just like did it for ourselves, and we were like, this is actually really fun. And so we every year we've kind of been cooking stuff uh, here at the house. And last year we hosted. This year we're not hosting, but we're gonna do a little dinner tomorrow. So yeah,
And you
it's kind of a
guys,
nice newer tradition.
you guys don't eat meat, right? Or you don't, at least. Do you have like
I
do
don't.
you do
She
the meat
mostly does.
substitute?
So yeah, I mean, like the turkey was, even when I ate meat, wasn't even like a part I really enjoyed that much. It was just kind of like it felt sort of like prescriptive, like you just had to eat it. I always
Yeah.
like the side stuff better. So, but we did get a tofurkey this year, which we've never tried before.
Mm.
So I'm excited to see how that. It's like stuffed with stuffing, and it comes with gravy, and so that'll be fun.
Yeah. Aside from just hanging out with my family, every year I'll like kind of leave a little early and watch The Last Waltz, it's a Scorsese concert movie from the band. It's one of my favorite bands, but they had a concert, like their last show ever they did in San Francisco on Thanksgiving, and it was like it's a very like warm movie, and like everybody was famously just like high off their ass on cocaine. They were just going absolutely insane. But one of my favorite things about it is just like it's this last concert at the end of this whole era of like not just the band, but like Neil Young, Bob Dylan, uh, Joni Mitchell, and like all these different performers that were like sort of peaking at the same time with the band, and they all like get together to have like a kind of like a farewell, and it feels sort of like it just feels very like loving, and like it just feels like a very like comfortable movie, and the music is incredible. So I watch that every year. Uh, Actually, last year I went with Justin. We did the show in the day after Thanksgiving. We did a show in San Francisco. I think it was like Fan Expo or something. So it wasn't like a very good show, but we did it there. It was specifically because I wanted to like go there and like listen to the band in San Francisco on Thanksgiving weekend. I just felt like that would be like fucking sick. And like it was, but it probably wasn't worth it for just like the hassle of doing the show. But it was worthwhile to hang out with my boy Justin, obviously.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait for we were talking about maybe you guys coming out to do a show here in Stockton. I think that could be really fun. We'd have to figure out like
Yeah.
if we could record something or do something, We're only 3 episodes in, but
live
I feel like our
episode.
movement is growing.
Yeah, I really hope we can make that happen. Like I've long wanted to get down to California for a show, and having this all there would be super dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about maybe in the summer that might be doable.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. It would be fun to just hang out in general, but hanging out with like this kind of thing happening too would be fucking awesome. There's so many.
We gotta do, man. Remember when Dragata was talking about like, what if we all just did like an art retreat? Like we all just rented an Airbnb for like a week and just like jammed out together. That would be so sick.
You should. We should talk to Dragata and tell him to finance it now that he's super rich.
That's what I was about to say. He's got the money. Tax write-off.
Do something for me.
DragataCon.
Well, as we start to wrap up here, what are you guys working on right now? Like,
well, currently I'm working on a commission. It's a homage to Wolverine.
Oh, nice.
With Shredder and Leonardo or Donatello. And also I have my Kickstarter, Friday Night Bigfoot, is still going. We're at about $6,000 with like 20 some days left.
Oh shit, nice.
The goal's 10. So
Nice.
slowly but surely.
Oh, 10 days left? I think you guys got that.
No, 20 days left. 10 days is the goal. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's
Sorry.
a really good pace.
You're more than halfway. You're more than halfway done, though.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Oh, good
That's
for
awesome.
you.
Fuck.
Yeah, I'm working on finishing this book. I'm doing like layout pencils right now, and yeah, other than that, man, my YouTube is kind of what I'm able to sort of do regularly, which is like putting out stuff. And I just crossed the 8,000 subscriber mark today, so that was a cool thing.
Hell yeah!
Congrats.
It's growing very organically. Thank you. So yeah, I'm really proud of that. And
I was waiting for the applause.
Amazing.
What was the last part?
Amazing.
Oh yeah, thank you, Alpha.
Hit him with this too.
So yeah, if people want to check that out, just search my name. Yeah, just search my name in YouTube, and it'll probably be the first thing that comes up.
Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, which you have to be because it's the only place it is, in the description, his is the only outgoing link that actually I've been able to make work. So the only link you could click on will go to his channel if you just scroll down. And when you're there, you could like and subscribe on his channel and on this one too. If you aren't already. But yeah, I'm just working on the same stuff. I'm just about wrapping up this little project that I'm doing, and then I'm gonna start working on another shit. But got some commissions as well, and I was like really sick for like a few days, and like anytime you get sick when you're just doing freelance shit, it's like, okay, well, I couldn't work, and now I have to work on like several things at once to like catch back up to where I was at, where it was like very manageable. It was like spinning plates. You get sick, especially when you're like doing multiple things at once. You get sick, and it just like throws a fucking wrench in everything. And so, I've been starting to like lock back in, and like, but my focus was really bad, and I was sneezing and felt like shit. But starting to feel better. Well, I feel better, but I'm starting to get back on track. But anyways,
good.
Anything else?
No,
I feel like we got like 7 minutes, but I guess we'll just stop 7 minutes early.
Shout out Bluesky too.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that for a second. Let's just fill up that.
Someone put me on. Whoever put me in a starter pack, thank you, because I gained about 600 followers in the span of like 3
what
weeks.
The fuck?
So
the starter packs are cool, man. It's such a nice way to tell people who's there and stuff.
How many followers do you have, Tony? Do you know?
Like 930, something like that.
Okay. Clout.
I only had 2,000 Twitter, so I'm almost halfway there. So
I have 2,000 here, but I had just reached 10K, and like on Twitter, and it was like the longest road to 10K possibly ever, because I was very toxic, so people would just unfollow me, block me all the time. I was stuck at 9.8 for the longest fucking time, and finally I got over, and then guess what happened? Twitter just goes to hell. So typical. But you know what? It's a new me on Bluesky. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, kinder, gentler. Your drive-through remote
yeah.
on Bluesky.
Yeah, I'm just much less. I'm just a much more agreeable person over there. I just feel like it brings out the best in me,
Yeah, in your echo chamber.
It's an interesting thing though, because like the vibe is completely different, and to where like I had made a couple posts where it was like, they're not that crazy, but it felt like maybe it's like a little bit more like aggressive than I need to be, and I felt a little bad about it, as I did it, and I was like, yeah, because the vibe isn't that here,
Well, you're right wing coded, so.
Oh, that's yeah. I forgot to bring that up earlier. I wanted to bring up during the sports segment. The idea that like somebody doesn't want sports on Bluesky because it's like a gateway, it's like a Trojan horse for the right wing. That's an insane take.
Yeah.
I guess I don't like sports. The sports are boring to me.
Yeah.
Being like, yeah, I don't like them because it could only mean that you're a right wing person is nuts.
Maybe we should stick to comics where there's no right wing people at all around. Famously.
She also this individual, I don't know but they said sports ball in the post, which automatically makes it just like no.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
Bluesky's been nice though. Like the vibe is good. People are like, we're gonna keep this one nice this time. We're not doing that shit. We'll see how long it lasts, but for now it's been cool,
Yeah. I mean, like, it was funny to see that person who was like, sports are bad, nobody talk about them. Like, they got ratioed to shit, which I didn't think was really even happening on Bluesky, which was nuts.
That's the first. I've been on there for over a year, and that's the first. I'm in the first 10% of Bluesky people, as they told me in my birthday.
I think we're all elders. We're all elders. We're all
and
elders.
Yeah, we all got in pretty early.
That was the
I
first
just got it
ratio
to save my account.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first one you'd seen, you said?
Yep. Well deserved.
Well, it's funny because they said that right after we had a conversation, like the first episode of this, where I was like, I think it's important to, even if you don't really care about sports, to know enough about them to engage with people, even if it's just like talking about the weather. I feel like it's the same thing. Like if you go like, how about that game? You don't even have to give a shit. You could just be like, oh, that sucks, huh? And then people will automatically drop their defenses down around you. Like I was talking to the guys about, I went to the Niners lost. They ate shit this weekend, and I was so frustrated by the game that I just went for a walk. I was like, I just got to get out of the house. I just got to go for my fucking walk right now. So I walked around the block, and I saw this old guy who was like sitting down smoking a cigarette, and he had like on a Niners hat, and I had on this Niners sweater, and he goes, "Oh, I have that sweater." Like, "Oh yeah, did you watch the game?" And he was like, "Yeah, it fucking sucked, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah." And we had like the most civil but small, polite conversation. And it's like in a world where everybody is being so atomized to be like separate from one another in their own silos, anything that you can do to break that down, I think is a good thing,
Yeah.
And I think any way to do the inverse, to invade the space, if you think something is right wing, to be in that space and then give somebody an alternative point of view, that's also a very good thing, Like it's the same way that like when they lost this election, they were like, oh, the Democrats lost the election. They're like, oh, well, we needed our own Joe Rogan. It's like, well, you can't just manufacture people to be in spaces where people are already at. You have to like understand that takes time to build those like lines of communication, and just from like but like beyond political though, beyond like a political strategy, it's a good thing to be able to talk to people about anything that is not like that lets their guard down, that engages with you on one-on-one. Like earlier this year, I got a lot of fucking hate for some shit, and one guy was like really fucking going in on me, and I saw he was a Niner fan, so I'm like, oh, by the way, go Niners, and he instantly was like, I know, right? Like, I hope we have a good year this season, or whatever the fuck, you know? And it was like this motherfucker hated me like 2 seconds ago, and immediately he was like, oh yeah, well, obviously I like that he's a Niner fan, but everything else about him, fuck him, you know?
Yeah. I had a relative call me today that I have a chilly relationship with, or over the course of most of my life, and he called me over Thanksgiving, and we talked about the Dolphins for like 30 minutes before we got into just having a conversation, and it was kind of a really good icebreaker to
I mean,
I even use sports for pleasantries with people, like, because I know enough from talking to you guys that I have like actually there's a guy who I see when I take my dog to the park every day, and he has a Niners hat on, and oh man, the Niners, well, just because I know what happened in the game the night before from talking to you.
Oh man, too bad about the Niners, huh? Anyways, that's all you gotta say. That's all you gotta say, and people will either like go like, oh yeah, or like it's literally just like if you go like, oh, rainy out, I think it's gonna rain, something like that. But
yeah, we needed it, and then you go on your way,
And you know what? I think what we lost as a society is people being able to do that with one another, even if they don't agree on anything else. You know what I mean? That's like people talk about like how they have these like political arguments in Thanksgiving or whatever. Like tomorrow, I told my family, like, listen, if football's on, don't talk to me about anything else. Like I don't want to fucking hear about any.
I will say though, like that is kind of a fine line though, because a lot of people, they just want to use that. Like we used to talk about stuff in like a negative way because they want to get away from having difficult conversations about how their views are fucked up,
Yeah.
So it's like, but yeah, I mean, using it to bridge a gap and then get to a point where you can be like, hey, by the way, like the thing you believe is fucked up. That's I think where the value is,
I totally agree, because it's not about I don't ever want to have that conversation. It's about like I don't want to have this conversation today. You know what I mean? Right. Let me just fucking watch football and don't talk to me about anything else. You know what I mean? But I mean, it is what it is. But I because the thing is, I have conversations with family members I disagree with about politics all the time. I'm saying let's not do that tomorrow.
Right.
let's save that for the next time we decide to do that.
Yeah, but also I think to that point about that that person's post, you were very gracious when she roasted you, and I was proud of you.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I think now we did fill the time, so that was fun. Well. So thank you very much, everyone, and we'll catch you next week on New Cool Meat. There'll be new cool meat. So we're figuring out the tag.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, have a good time with your families if that's what you're doing, or by yourselves.
Yeah. However.
Yeah, whatever you're doing. Hope it's great.